Hi, it's me, Wyatt, the boy,
And me, Clem, the lobster.
and you're listening to The Lobster and His Boy, in which we're rereading the Chronicles of Narnia in publication order. In this episode, we finally get to dive into the open waters of Narnia with the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, published in 1952, written between January and February 1950. I don't know if that means that he wrote it between those 2 months. I think it just means that he completed it. Although my other notations do say, like, completed after Christmas, blah, 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 blah. So he might have written this in 2 months.
I couldn't even read this in 2 months.
No.
It's like 5 pages. And anyway, welcome back, everybody. Oh my gosh. So here we are, number whatever. Well, I was going to say number 3 in the books, but that's also not correct. But the 3rd book in publication order. Come on, brain. And I'm excited. Should we just jump on into chapter 1?
Sure. I think I have one little note here. I realized I do a lot of name origins in this book and doing this research, and I never did the name meanings for our original 4. So I just wanted to touch on those real quick. Starting with Lucy, of course, the most important.
Yes.
It's Latin for light or light bringer. Kind of, like Lucifer, but also like she's the light,
She's
the
the morning
lamppost
star.
of Narnia. Like she
She's
I don't know.
the first light that comes to the morning star. She's the
Yes.
light of the dawn that brings life. Why am I
It's-
already crying?
And in some traditions, there's Saint Lucy, and she's seen as the bearer of light in the darkness of winter, and her feast day is December 13th. So probably gonna be
Sagittarius.
celebrating Miss Saint Lucy this year.
Hell yeah.
Edmund means wealthy protector. It's fine.
The crows had something to
Yeah,
say about
the
that.
crows got
They were like,
something to say.
okay.
And this one, he also a saint. Saint Edmund refused to give up his Christian faith, declaring that his religion was dearer to him than his life, and so he was tied to a tree and shot full of arrows before being beheaded. So like,
Yeah. I get it. I'm not
I
saying
mean-
there's anything that
it does
you
remind
know.
me of Edmund's stance in the last book and this book.
Yeah.
He is maybe wealthy because he's a king or whatever.
Well, I feel like he grows into that
He
character.
grows into
100%.
Narnia's protector,
Yeah.
and this feels like he would 100% die for Narnia.
For Aslan.
For Aslan, yeah.
That's one for Aslan.
Susan, I feel like Susan gets with all of these names, or with all this origin stuff, because her animals suck too, the rabbit.
What? I love rabbits.
Well, it was like, it stands for fertility and hope and peace or whatever.
Okay,
and
yeah.
I was like, okay, I wanted Susan to have something like cooler.
like a badger.
Well, Lucy had the badger.
Badgers are excellent finders.
They're excellent. Susan's name means lily or lily of the valley. Susan is also the name of one of the women that attend to Jesus on his journeys. So that's probably where, people are getting these Christian allegories. I think a lot more from these names that I didn't get because I didn't look them up at the beginning. And then we've got Peter, which means rock or stone. I'm like, okay, again, like
Solid.
solid. Yeah. The biblical name Peter was most notably given to one of Jesus's apostles. So we've got 2 Jesus mentions. So I get why people were like, this is a Christian novel, because these names of these 4 were, I feel like almost every name was religious in some form back in the day, in like the 40s and on. Like everyone was Peter or David or Eustace or
Yeah, I feel like there just weren't enough names. Like in Prague, for example, they have that clock where like there's a name for every day of the year, which like it's like your day name. It's not the name actually that people actually go by, but I feel like it's kind of that sort of energy. Sorry, I was frantically Googling because I was like, I know Peter, I know Saint Peter, because as we know, Jesus is a friend of mine. I have a friend in Jesus, and I'm having a hard time remembering how he died, but I do remember that there was one apostle that was hung upside down, And oh, there we go, death and burial. In the epilogue of the Gospel of John, Jesus hints at the death of Peter, that his death will glorify God, and says that when you are old, you will stretch out your hands and you will dress, and another will dress you and carry you where you do not want to go. And that's right, Peter was crucified, and I guess like some people interpret it as a reference to his crucifixion, but like it also, like later in different books, the Bible talks about how Peter was released by an angel and like gets to go to another place. And so like anyway, the point of it is like Peter was very important.
Right. In the grand scheme of the Christian stories, myths, faith.
Oh, god damn it. You know what? That's what it is. It's because Peter is the first apostle, but he's known as Simeon.
Okay, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, because biblical name was given to one of Jesus's apostles, Peter.
Right. Because then there's Andrew, who's Peter's brother.
Yeah, not Edmund. I was like, one of these was a given name, not a born name. It was Peter.
They love to goof you, and like, and there are like different interpretations of different names, but like, yeah, I was like Peter was the guy.
The main dude.
Yeah.
Main squeeze.
Shout out to Peter. And then, yeah, but Simeon is the second of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's all I can remember from Joseph the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. There's one more angel in heaven. There's one more star in the sky. Joseph will never forget you. It's tough, but we're gonna get by. Can we afford that? Holy shit. I just saw that there's also an Eastern Christian tradition delivered from the Gospel of Luke that there were 70 apostles during the time of Jesus' ministry.
Whoa.
Maybe they were just like, look, we only have enough space on the canvas for 12. My parents are going to love that joke. Anyway.
Yeah, we can go ahead and jump into chapter 1. The picture in the bedroom. There was a boy called Eustace Clarence Scrub. And he almost deserved it. That's how the book opens.
Ow!
He loves just ripping into people in
Children.
an opening line. He did it in another book, I remember. I don't remember which one. I don't think it was Prince Caspian. Low-key, I think it's Magician's Nephew.
C.S. Lewis, starting off a book. This fucking bitch.
You literally, like, Jesus Christ.
You're not going to believe this.
And he's like, he's got no friends, and he calls his parents by their first names. Don't be telling Eustace's business to everybody like this.
I mean, like, yeah, let us formulate our own opinion about him before you tell us he sucks.
But speaking of Eustace, we're gonna go into his name origin. I just did the 4 mains, so we gotta give Eustace his dues. It is a male name of the Greek origin that means steadfast or fruitful. Which, interesting, Clarence is a boy's name of Latin origin. It means clear. And some say the name Scrub implies a family that is low on the social ladder, while Eustace Clarence is posh-sounding, that suggests his parents might be snobs, which is interesting because he's got this, I don't know. I think that it's that last bit is more likely where it sounded posh, Eustace Clarence, than it actually meaning anything to his character. Although, fruitful, I don't know. He does eat a lot of fruit. He's vegetarian.
I know plenty of vegetarians that don't eat enough fruit, but yeah, I wonder, it's just like, yeah, one of those things where like your last name is, sorry, all the Smiths out there, but your last name's Smith, so they name you like, Zelda, or
right.
Why are the only names I can think of Zelda and Hercules?
They're good names.
Zelda and Hercules, please call me.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, so now we're on season 3, and Susan and Peter were too old to go back to Narnia, which is where, sorry, spoiler, I'm assuming we're probably gonna go. So we need a new character, slide in Scrubstus.
Scrubstus.
I also wrote that he almost deserved it. And like they refer to their teachers as masters, which I think is gross, but we don't need to get into the Pink Floyd of it all because it's not really relevant. His parents are named Harold and Alberta.
Great names.
And like, yeah, they're like up to date people. They're up to date, advanced people. They don't smoke, they don't drink, the teetotalers, and they wear like special kinds of underclothes.
I was like, are they Mormons?
That's
It's
what.
giving
Yeah,
Mormons.
it is giving Mormon, but like, I mean, I don't.
Vegetarian Mormons.
Yeah, yeah, vegetarian Mormons. I was like, I don't think being vegetarian is a required thing for
No,
Mormons,
no, I
but
don't think so. I didn't know what a
teetotaler is just like a name for people who like I thought it was for people who can't handle their alcohol, but I think it's for people who just like do just like are not they don't drink.
Yeah, I looked it up, and that's what it is. Practice or promotion of total personal abstinence from the consumption of alcohol, specifically in alcoholic drinks. A person who practices and possibly advocates for teetotalism is it called a teetotaler or
Teetotaler, gonna.
or is simply said to be teetotal. And I think they said somewhere that it's because they drink a lot of tea. Like that's all they drink.
God, that's stupid. They don't have a lot of furniture, and they don't have a lot on their beds, and I guess like they always keep their windows open. So in my head, this house, I would be miserable. It's
It
fucking
seems
cold.
like it's like on the beach then, right?
Yeah, yeah, or yeah, it's cold. You got almond parents. There's no snacks.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty shit, but like, yeah. So the hobbies of Eustace, of course, I had to list because this kid likes to pin dead beetles to cards, and he likes books about information and like had pictures of grain elephants,
Yeah.
grain elevators, or children, fat foreign children doing exercises in model schools. These are direct quotes from the book. I personally have not seen that, but I can.
No.
I figured this kid, he's picking up the last thing you think a child would be interested. But he's the cousin of the Pevensies, and spoiler, he does not like them. But Ed and Lou are coming to stay, and is excited because he gets to boss and bully them, and just kind of like, I don't know, be
Yeah.
a jerk.
Because
I
they're
guess.
guests in his house,
Yeah.
so he assumes they're just gonna be polite. He says that he could probably take Lucy on in a fight. I don't think so. This girl could kick your ass, Eustace,
Hondo.
if it came to it.
Yeah.
But they're staying there for 16 weeks. 16 weeks. Because their father's giving lectures in America. Lectures on what? The war?
I mean, it takes a month to get there on boat, so he's probably doing like a week of lectures.
Yeah, well, I did look it up, like how long it would take, because I thought they were going by boat, and if they are, it probably takes about that long. But this says 5 to 7 days of travel from London
yeah.
to America
I
in
mean-
1943.
Okay, yeah. I mean, to be fair, like,
Because they could probably take like a small plane.
I was thinking a boat.
Right,
Still.
I would think a boat.
How long does it take to get across the ocean?
I think that's what 5 to 7 days. I think that's
Yeah.
what I looked up.
Yeah, I mean, in my head, I'm thinking like 18. I just like watched 18.
Yeah, like a
so,
big, like the Dawn Treader
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
sailboat.
Squeeze me. Sorry, I'm thinking about a tiny little boat, but like, I love this whole bit because like Peter is off with the professor.
Yes.
But like because the professor's become poor, he has a small cottage now, so like there's only enough space for one kid. But like Peter has to study for school, and
I wonder if he's still got the wardrobe. He's gotta have it, right?
of course. I mean, it
But it doesn't work
yeah,
anymore.
It's not a portal, but I mean, I'm like, and especially like because of Peter's attitude towards leaving Narnia, it's probably like just nice to be around it. Like it's
Yeah.
like having a Barbie
Nostalgic.
Jeep that you've outgrown. I would imagine.
Probably.
But this is the best part. Susan does get to go to America because you always take your prettiest child.
Yes. Yes. Well, because
Oh yeah, and she's dumb too.
she needs to learn stuff in America, and Mom went too because she needed a vacation after the war.
Which
But it's not over yet, right? It's 1943.
I don't know about that, but I mean,
It doesn't really say, but I assumed that it was the next summer.
Okay.
I think it is, but
I mean, he's not.
Yeah.
I think nobody understands better than C.S. Lewis that time is a human-made construct, and there are no rules. So I believe you're right, but I mean, essentially, the mom's like, "You kids go stay with your auntie Alberta," And apparently they're just going to be there all summer. And the only thing that's in this house, this empty, cold, emotionless house, that they like, is this picture on the wall that the Pevensies' parents had given to their aunt and uncle as a wedding present. And it's funny because like they've kept it as an obligation gift because they don't actually like the picture.
Mm-hmm.
But God bless Louis. God bless Lucy for finding the one good thing in a shitty situation to like find some sort of breath and clarity. And so like she's stoked and just kind of staring at this painting, which is I guess upstairs in the room where they're staying conveniently.
Yeah, right. Because her Eustace's mom put it up there because it's the guest room that they don't have to go in, and she doesn't like the painting.
I feel like it's the Airbnb that no one like took the time to decorate. Basically,
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, here are some walls and a door. But I don't know. Like, yeah, the description of the parents doesn't make them sound like the most like I don't know. They don't sound like awful or boring people to me.
Apparently, she's kind of a feminist.
Yeah, they
There's
seem
the part
kind of
later
cool.
where Eustace says some stuff or whatever about how like women shouldn't be treated differently, whatever, whatever. And he says it,
Yeah.
and he's doing it because like he wants some special treatment that whatever Lucy's getting, but he's like she shouldn't get special treatment. Mother says this and that. And I'm like, ooh,
But also
but
good
also
on you,
yes.
Alberta. Like, yeah, that's I think it's they're trying to make it seem negative, and then I'm also what do they mean special kinds of underwear? I'm like, you talking about a thong?
Built-in sound effects.
But yeah, so basically painting us an image of just like a shitty summer, and Lou and Ed are up in the room looking at the one nice thing that's there, talking about Narnia, but quietly because nobody knows what they're talking about. And also Eustace is kind of a turd.
They're not very nice to him either, but he is really he's like standing there and saying shitty things, and they're giving him all the social cues to leave, and he just stands there, and he knows that they don't want him there, but that's part of the guests. He can just stand there and bug them, and he like gets something out of it. But he's just lonely, I think. But he doesn't have anyone to play pretend with, and
Yeah.
there's all four of them, and when they were playing pretend, when it was pretend, they were still able to do it together, like built-in friends. And he didn't have that. And not to say that every person that doesn't have siblings is secretly jealous of, their cousins that do or their friends that do, but I feel like Eustace kind of is.
That, and also I think because of just his parents didn't, I'm not blaming these fictional parents, but it also just sounds like he wasn't not like allowed to have a childhood, but it also just seems like the childhood he had I don't know, they didn't.
He was not socialized.
No, he just, yeah, and like whereas all the other like the Pevensies, yeah, grew up together, had other kids around. He only had these like very modern adults that were nothing like anyone else. So like I think you are right. Like I mean, every human being, experiences loneliness, and whether or not you have a friend or a sibling, like it seems like he was just not set up for success. Which we're gonna discuss in the next 18 hours. But basically, yeah, he's standing at the door, and Ed tells him to go away, and you're not wanted here. That's apparently what Ed's gonna sound like for this episode.
Okay.
And then Eustace gives him a limerick, which is I didn't decide on a Eustace voice. So I'm gonna need it for later. But
Yeah, I don't have a limerick. I'm straight to, or maybe not. Oh, he's talking about Lucy, why she likes the painting.
oh yeah, just like just because he's such a poetic writer, but some kids who play games about Narnia got gradually balmier and balmier. Lucy tells him that Narnia and balmier don't rhyme, but Edmund, ever the pretentious little dick, hits her with what is it?
It's an assonance.
Yes.
Assonance.
Yeah.
ASSONANCE.
Well, he makes an ass.
Yeah, he makes an assonance.
For sure. Which, yeah, and then, like, Ed's like, don't take the bait. But, yeah, so, I don't know. It just seems like Lucy's always trying to make the best of situations no matter what, and it's very admirable. And so she mentions that she likes the picture because, he's not going anywhere. He's just going to stand there. And so Eustace is like, this is a shit picture.
But he's just what's the word? Regurgitating his parents' opinions because they don't like the painting. So he doesn't like the painting.
Right. And probably just trying to be contrary just because
Yeah.
the I don't know, maybe the serotonin he gets from the anger, like it's like I'm sure it stimulates the same part. Let's get technical. I'm sure it stimulates the same part of your brain as like happiness and joy for making people laugh or, making other people happy. Like I'm sure it's very the same in the pleasure center of your brain. So
Right. You're engaged. There's a
Yeah.
back and forth, like regardless of what it is. Because he goes, "Oh, it's ugly," and she likes it. And he's like, "Well, why do you like it?" But he's still asking her. He's not just like shutting it down either. He wants to have the conversation.
yeah, he wants to tell you it sucks and then wants to
Yeah.
know why you like it so he can tell you
It
like
sucks.
because
Yeah.
of those reasons. But
He is one of those annoying dudes that just wants to like have an argument for the sake of having an argument.
just because they've been like waiting to talk about it, and it's like,
Yeah.
just get a fucking podcast,
Yeah, and talk about Narnia.
bitch.
Bitch.
I just like, it's one of those things where whenever it's like it's a niche subject, it's like, yeah, because it's the type of thing no one's read in forever. And I'm sure for those of you who've been listening, you realize by now you don't need to read the books. We're doing it for you. We're doing the Lord's work,
Oh yeah.
which
Oh, yeah.
brings us back to standing in front of the picture when it's, Eustace just talks about the time that he was on a ship and he got nauseous. But then it kind of seems like the picture's doing weird shit. Like it almost kind of seems like it's moving.
Right, because he asked Lucy why she likes it. And she's like, "Oh, the water looks like it's wet. It looks like it's almost moving." And then he's like,
I'm getting
"Fuck,
sick.
it kind of does look like it's moving."
Yeah. And then there's like poltergeist energy is like a exercise book that had been laying next to it, like flaps and flies in the air to the wall behind him.
Yeah, like how heavy of a breeze is blowing.
Yeah.
That it blew a full book.
Yeah, well, and it says exercise book, which in my head I'm like, that must be one of those, big thick ones. So like, huge textbook. And then like Lucy's hair, or she feels her hair whipping around her as it does on a rainy day. And there's like air, like wind blowing
Right.
out of the picture.
And you can smell it. The ocean.
Yeah, we're not wasting any time. He's just like, we know where we're going. We're going to Narnia. We don't need to tell you about the ride there. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, the water fucking splashes them, and he runs to take the painting off the wall. And it says that he shrinks or something, basically.
Oh, Eustace?
Yeah, they all just kind of shrink, and they're standing on the frame of the painting.
Right, because he tries to smash it. Like,
Yeah, he
and
like
then-
runs up, and it's like a weird, either the painting gets bigger or they get smaller, but it doesn't really matter.
In my head,
'cause-
it's very cute. They're like, boop, and they're just
Yeah.
standing on the edge, like, what? What?
Yeah, and they fall in. I can totally see it in like a Charmed, like a
Yes.
like a campy not
Yes,
reality TV.
Yours is Charmed, mine is Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yes,
They're
they're the same.
They're the same.
Falling off of the obvious set piece.
just mine has a laugh track.
Yeah. Oh.
So,
And now they're in the ocean.
yeah, they're just in the open ocean, but all of a sudden, it's really not too long. They're just getting pulled out of the water by none other than
Caspian. And he's blonde. They like say that he's blonde now. I don't think they ever said it before, but now they say he's blonde.
I feel like they did mention that he was blonde
Okay.
because it's on the shelf, but like, no, I definitely feel like they mentioned he was blonde because everybody else in Telmar
isn't, yeah.
yeah, doesn't
and that's why
have
he's
fair
like a
hair.
son of Adam.
Yeah,
on my cover of Prince Caspian, he definitely has dark hair, or maybe he's wearing a hood, because
Not
it's a
Telmar.
picture of yeah. I knew what you meant.
I know. Just like I'm gonna be yelling at myself for that later.
Well, then yeah, from Telmar. Everyone else.
He's not. He doesn't have. He has blonde hair because he doesn't have Telmarian lineage.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh.
didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. But on my cover of the book, has him riding the horse at night away, and it looks like dark hair, but he could be wearing a hood. But that's not the book we're talking about.
Yeah.
But he is blonde now and forever and always.
Yeah, just have more issues with the movie, but it's fine. It's over. We
It's
don't have
over.
to watch it ever again.
Yes.
So yeah, now so they've all been pulled out of the water, and Eustace, being the most confused of all, is like really not stoked and also crying much harder. Well, according to C.S. Lewis, he's crying much harder than any boy of his age has the right to cry when nothing worse than a wetting has happened to him.
Nothing worse than a wedding. He was just thrust from his world into a different dimension, fell into the ocean where he was not very confident swimming, and now he's on a ship with strangers.
Yeah, you like being rude to like you wrote this character.
Yeah,
Calm down.
and they're bullying him.
This episode is brought to you by the people against C.S. Lewis's ghost. We are a small collective, but we find that his bullying of children needs to end.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, so Eustace wants to go back,
Yeah.
which, okay.
It does remind me of Edmund on his first time. He just like doesn't like the air. It doesn't sit with him. Like,
I think it's like that Aslan energy where it's
yeah,
like you're
the vibrations.
the unknown, the Jocelyn, and also I forget how old they say he is. He's about Edmund's age.
Yeah,
Eustace
I think
is.
he's maybe a year
Between
younger,
them.
because I think that Lucy is 2 years younger than Edmund.
So she's 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 11.
11, and then
Edmund's 12.
Edmund's 12.
Okay. Yeah, which so yeah, like I don't, whatever age, like if that happened to me, I'd be fucking crying.
Yeah, 11. So you're in like 5th grade.
Yeah. Gosh.
6th grade.
Anyway, so basically
But well, yeah, Caspian's here.
yeah, and Eustace is like, can you just drop me off somewhere? And like they basically are like, dude, there's nowhere to take you. There's nowhere you can go to. There's no way for you to get back to where you're going. Like there's like there's no physical way to get you anywhere. You just showed up in the ocean, bitch.
Yeah.
Ocean, bitch.
Take me by the bitch. Take me to my bitch. But it's only been, of course, I don't have this down. Do you have how long it's been?
Yeah, it's been 1 year in our time, as we know, because it's summertime. And even though the last story, only a year passed between The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that period was 1,300 years, as we've discussed. In this particular sequence, it's been a year in our time, but only 3 Narnian years have passed.
Oh, okay.
So I don't...
Yeah, and this is where he put a quote here, and it said, it basically just to cover his ass.
Mm-hmm.
If you spent 100 years in Narnia, you would still come back to our worlds at the very same hour of the very same day on which you left. And then, if you went back to Narnia after spending a week here, you might find that 1,000 Narnian years had passed, or only a day, or no time at all. You never know until you get there. So basically just like, we're just going to make it really convenient for whenever I need to toss somebody into Narnia, and I can make sure that the people I need to be there will be there.
I mean, honestly, it's fine. I feel like you could have made the chaotic or like the randomness of the time a little bit more solidified, like, but whatever, it's fine. Well, have we mentioned that C.S. Lewis might be his own type of writer? Anyway, so basically there's no resolving the situation. They're all on a boat together. Caspian calls for some spice wine, and this is also a weird part where C.S. Lewis thinks that Britain could use another visiting from King Arthur. It was just like a throwaway mention that made me wonder what he thought would happen. So if anybody wants to do a stage production of the Chronicles of Narnia, I'll Spam-A-Lot, call me. Fast wine steaming in the flagoon, and 4 silver cups, which Eustace promptly spits out because he thinks, like, he just thinks it's gross, and he asks for...
Oh, Plump trees vitamize no food.
No food,
Plump trees vitamize no food.
no food.
Tastes so great, plumps you up and gives you the vitamins you need. Plump trees vitamize no food.
No food. Thank
you so much for sponsoring the episode. Plum trees vitamize nerve food.
Oh my gosh. She's giving Vita.
Yeah, vitamin vitamin.
But yeah, because again, Eustace thinks that they can just pull over and just get snacks anywhere. He hasn't fully grasped and like again, I'm not blaming him because like he just got sucked into a picture, but
and also as we learn a little later, he wasn't a big fantasy buff. So imagine how in almost every zombie film, books, whatever, they don't understand the concept of zombies most of the time because there's no media of zombies. And that's why they always come up with their own word. And it's not zombie, it's walker or crawler or whatever, because zombie isn't the first thing in their head.
I genuinely
don't have zombie. And that's why they always have to learn that you have to kill it in the head. You can't just shoot, because otherwise you don't get that scene where they stab it in the chest and they think that they got it. So.
I thought everyone was just like a lazy writer. Dude, I'm not even kidding. You just blew my fucking mind. I never realized that was a reason. Or people were trying to be creative or something, or just like fill up time. I didn't realize it was because people, I just can't.
I mean, I don't know if it's a full, I think that some people are lazy and they just want to get the specific things.
Yeah.
But in other things like The Walking Dead, I'm almost positive like that's part of what they talk about, because Carl likes comic books and stuff like that, but there's never any zombies.
Or and then some movies like it'll be like, oh, they zombies, and like they're like, well, kind of, which again, like adaptate, whatever. We're getting off the topic.
Yeah.
The point is, Eustace is not familiar with anything in the fantasy world, and so essentially, everyone who's on the ship, these new characters, including our favorite return character, Reepicheep. Bam, bam. No one's stoked or impressed by him at all. And then Eustace is incredibly rude to Reepicheep and says that he's grossed out by him. And I love how, when Lucy greets Reepicheep, she doesn't cuddle him, but like imagine if she did. But instead,
she wants to.
Who wouldn't want to? He's so precious.
And he has that one little crown on his one ear with the feather.
His magic tail. But yeah, she goes down on one knee and he bows and he kisses her hand and he straightens his tail and he straightens himself and he swirls his whiskers and says in his shrill little piping voice, "My humble duty to your majesty and to King Edmund too." That was terrible. "Nothing except your majesties."
He's so sweet.
Oh wait, there was more to that. Whatever. Basically, just he's being sweet and he's just so excited to see them, and then Eustace is just a shit fuck, and just the way that he's speaking to Reepicheep is really condescending, very rude. Neither Lou or Ed wants to vouch for him, but obviously,
he's our cousin.
Yeah. And Caspian gives them fresh boys' clothes.
Boy clothes.
Because that's all they got. And,
he gives Lucy his cabin.
And Sheepy's ready to fight Eustace at any moment.
Yeah. He doesn't. They're already off to a great enemies. It's a friendship arc.
Mm-hmm. And then Caspian eloquently gives Lucy his cabin because, she's a lady.
The only lady on the ship.
A lady. And it's just an absolutely beautiful cabin, with windows that look out on the blue water, and there's nice low cushions so you can sit, and a silver lamp, and it's got a big gold image of Aslan, and it's
at the stern, which is at the back of the boat.
Right. Oh, thank you. Yes, we did have to relearn I had to relearn a lot of nautical terms because
learn first time learn.
Yeah, because I'm not a boat boy.
And I have a note right here. I will just read them right now. Announcement: when looking ahead, left of the ship is port, and right of the ship is starboard.
Yes.
Don't know why, but that's what it is.
Right.
I did look it up, and starboard
Right
is the
side.
combination of two old words, steer, meaning steer, and board, meaning the side of the boat. So it's like the steering side of the boat. I don't
Oh.
know. And the left side is called port because ships with steerboards or starboards would dock at ports on the opposite side. So that's the
Oh.
port side.
My autistic brain is like port, 4 letters, left, 4 letters, and that's it. Like,
That's a great, yeah.
because yeah, everything else is like the prow is the front or like the most forward part of the ship. The bow is the front part of the whole ship, and then the whole is like a watertight enclosure on the ship. And I
Yeah,
was like,
underneath.
right, and I was like, oh my god, there has to be more than just like. There has to be more to the story than ship knowledge. And there is, which is Caspian giving them fresh clothes, which are too big for Lucy, so she's giving current Luke's.
Yeah, it's cute. There's a little picture in my book, and it was really cute.
Yeah.
Of her in the cabin in like the big shirt.
But yeah, so that's
She's so comfortable. She's so happy to be back in the cabin on the ship.
compared to being in an ice cold
Yeah.
room in that miserable house, and now she's in the sunshine on a ship in Narnia with her friends. Like,
Ready for adventure.
how could this possibly get any better?
We're going to find out in chapter 2 on board the Dawn Treader. We get introduced to Caspian again a little bit, and then he introduces the captain of the ship, Lord Drinian. I've got, again, name origin. We're just meeting a lot of people, so there's a lot of name origins, and then I'm not going to talk about it again. Drin is a verb that means to push something by using your shoulders. And then the ian suffix belonging or relating to a person, belonging to, or coming from. So, like, you know...
He's a pusher. He pushes people.
He
And
pushes
now he's gonna
people.
push the boat.
And it makes... He's a pusher.
Write it down.
It makes me think of somebody who's very hardworking, kind of ox-like.
Yeah.
Potentially, you know, like a great right-hand man. Someone who's gonna keep pushing through.
Yeah, like Caspian mixed with Dr. Cornelius. Dr. Cornelius.
Yeah, here it is. We find out 1 Earth year, only 390 years. Convenient.
Yeah, but basically, just a little background on what's happened in Narnia in the past 3 years. Caspian's king. It's all good. Everything in Narnia is happy time. All the living creatures are good, essentially. So they were like, well, let's take to the seas, and left Trumpkin as regent while they're away, who is loyal as a badger, valiant as a mouse. And so Caspian is off to find out what happened to his father's friends that were sent to explore the unknown in eastern seas beyond the lone islands. We know when Miraz sent them on a suicide mission, essentially. And, Caspian wants to find out what happened, and Aslan gives it his paw of approval to go find out who, what is it?
What happened to the 7 lords?
Yeah, Lord Rebellion,
Revillian.
Lord Burn, Lord Argos, Lord Mavamon,
Mavramorn.
damn it, Lord Octesian, Lord Restamar, and Lord Hrope, Hoop?
Yes.
who apparently is difficult to remember.
Which is, you've got Mavramorn and
It sounds like poop.
Octesian. Like, I have name origins for all of these too. But it's quick.
Yeah, no, please, go for it.
Yeah, we'll go, that's the same order. Lord Revillian, which stems from the verb revillier, to assail with scornful or abusive language. So,
Like Revale, or Revale.
yeah, revile. Doesn't seem like a great guy. We've
Grumpy.
got Lord Bern, Bern is a German boy's name and surname that means bear. It may be a short form of Bernard, which combines Bern with hard, brave, or strong to mean brave bear. So, this seems like sweet, strong, maybe Scottish. Lord Bern.
Bernard would be a good name for a basset hound.
Oh, baby Bernard. Oh, we have Lord Argos, And Argo means free from labor or at leisure without the Z. But so we seem chill guy. We got a chill guy, cool guy. Lord Mavramorn. Mavra has multiple meanings, including star of the sea and dark. And morn means morning. So it's interesting that it means star of the sea and dark. Surprise, surprise. Maybe morning star. Cause morning. Another Lucy, another light in the darkness, maybe. Um, and then Lord Octasian, eight. Oh, it's pretty obvious. And I couldn't find the Elysian, but it kept coming up. Elysium, the Elysium, like delightful, glorious, blissful, like many bliss. I don't know. A cool guy.
I wonder if Elysian
Party
is
guy.
like from
Right, because the I
like
A N.
Parisian.
Right, IAN, like we saw in whatever else, like coming from or whatever, like relating to. So yeah, I don't know about Octis, but oh yeah, and then we got Lord Restamar, and this one means resting in a body of water. Just a very poignant, weird name meaning.
Yeah, that's
Um,
odd.
And we've got Lord Roop, the last one. The name Roop is of Indian origin and is predominantly used as a masculine name. It is derived from the Sanskrit word rupa, meaning beauty or form. Also potentially a nickname from the Middle English. Rope, meaning rope without any, meaning rope. Possibly for a rope maker or seller.
Ugh, imagine that rope.
Yeah, rope.
What do you do? I make rope.
I'm a rope maker.
I like rope.
I make rope and I sell rope.
It's my favorite thing.
And I also researched Miraz here because I wasn't sure if we had done that either.
I can't remember.
But just for the fun of it, Miraz, it doesn't have a specific meaning the way it's spelled, but the surname Mraz, the same without the I, means frost. Kind of fitting, he's like the second Frost of Narnia, but not ice, just a frost, and then he's melted pretty quick.
I mean,
All right, and that's all the name origins I've got for a while.
and that's that on that.
Now we all know what they mean, and some of them might mean something about their characters, and others probably don't mean anything.
Basically, so yeah, they're going off looking for these dudes to figure, find out maybe what happened to these lords.
The Lord.
The lore of the lords. So, a noble pursuit, of course. But in addition to that, Reepicheep wants to find Aslan's country, which Lucy is not totally sure you can sail there, but like Reepicheep has he's had this like calling, like this enchantment on him his entire life.
From the poem that he was told from the Dryad or whatever.
When he
spirit.
was a wee little Mushka,
Wee little Mushka
swinging
baby.
in his little Mushka. I'm sorry to infantilize Reepicheep, but just like a little baby mouse being sung to like a forest spirit. Do you want to read? You want to read it?
Where sky and water meet, where the waves grow sweet. Doubt not, Reepicheep, to find all you seek. There is the utter east. East.
The East, yeah. I wondered about that. Like, was that just? I mean,
He loves a weird, not rhyme. It was the same with the other.
yeah, astronauts.
Yeah, spring again. When Aslan shakes his mane, we will have spring again. Even just Eustace earlier, he did a weird slanted rhyme utilizing your accent to rhyme.
An astronaut.
And assonance.
An astronaut. An astronaut.
You're not gonna forget it now.
I mean, it was one of those words that like I know because of having pretentious children in my life like Eustace. But anyway, so they're in the sea, but where are they? Where in the world are all these kids in Narnia? And there's a map inside of the book that I have and also that you have, and they're somewhere in the middle of the sea, hella far from Cair Paravel north of Galma, but like kind of in no man's land. But I guess they chilled in Galma for a week, and then like the king wanted Caspian to marry his daughter, and Caspian was like, hell no.
Yeah.
Because she squints and has freckles.
What the fuck?
Which Lucy
I
says,
spiked the mic.
but Lucy's like, oh, poor girl. I'm like, what's wrong with, oh, she
Squinting?
squints? Is
Because she's living on an island.
it right? Maybe she has impaired vision. Maybe she has light sensitivity. What's wrong with freckles?
She might have blue eyes and freckles. When I saw freckles, I was like, she's probably got red hair and blue eyes, and she's living on a tropical island, and it's fucking bright, and so she's squinting because it hurts her eyes.
Is C.S. Lewis like doesn't like redheads? Is that like a thing?
I don't know.
Well, there's something to Google later. Call in if you know if C.S. Lewis liked redheads.
Like, maybe you could have just not liked her. It didn't have to be she squints. You could have
Right.
just said, oh, I didn't really like her. You had to go and be superficial.
Honestly, it just sounds like he's getting all of his shitty attitude out on these children. But anyway, so then they sailed to Terabithia, but they ended up not going because people are sick there, and then they got overhauled by a pirate for a second, who then realized that they goofed, and then off to Muley, the westernmost of the Seven Isles, and then to Ravenhaven.
Red Haven.
I know. Thanks, dyslexia. Okay, then Redhaven, then the Isle of Bren. So like 30 days at sea and more than 400 leagues from Narnia.
Which is 1,381 miles.
Ding, ding. So they're going to reach the Lone Island in approximately 2 days. And then no one knows what's beyond the Lone Islands because that's what the 7 lords went out to go do.
Correct.
So
And Caspian vowed this journey on the day of his crowning.
Right.
And he was going to travel for a year and a day until he found out what happened. And we're 30 days in.
oh, that's like announcing your plan. It's giving like, I declare bankruptcy.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, whatever. So, they're excited. Adventure begins. And so at this point, we're caught up, we're on the boat. And then Lucy remembers that, oh yeah, my cousin is super
Really
seasick.
seasick.
Yeah, Eustace is not doing well. And she's like, oh, if only I had my magic goop, maybe I could give him some. And Caspian's like,
This magic.
because he just, I mean, honestly, like it just makes sense to bring in, like, she's not there.
Yeah, for all you know, next time she's coming back is 3 million years from now.
Right. And also,
It's
like,
not your
of
problem.
course she would be like, yeah, I'd rather you use it to save people's or save, creatures' lives instead of the off chance I might come back. But anyway, I guess he left the horn back in Narnia just in case, there's any issues and they needed help,
Right.
which
Trumpkin held on to that.
makes sense. So, she's like, I'll just go. And, Caspian doesn't think that seasickness is a worthy cause of her magic goop, but Lucy knows it won't take very much. And you got to do something
Yeah,
to
you
help
gotta
this
help
kid.
him out.
Like, God bless Louis. Louis, you know what?
Her
That's
name's
two.
Louie now.
Her name's Louis, yeah.
I do have a note about her freaking glass thing because they say that it's diamond here, and I specifically remember that Santa gave it to her in what looked like glass, quote, but people said afterwards that it was made of diamond. But here we are, and Lucy's saying, oh, my diamond.
Maybe it's because it's afterwards, so that's what people are saying it. But,
I guess so.
well, and then Caspian says, like, take back your own queen, hashtag, take back your own queen. And then it's like, okay, well, let's go find him. And so they go under the boat,
Under the boat,
under the boat.
under the boat,
They have some oars, but they don't use them because they're under the boat.
under the boat.
Yeah. But yeah, so the oars are just like to get them in and out of harbors and stuff. It's not for like enslaved people because that's not how they do in Narnia. But instead
Everybody takes a row when they need to.
Even Caspian rows the boat.
Yep.
So except Cheapy doesn't have to because
He can't reach.
he can't reach.
So he does a lot of other stuff to help out.
That's true, and it's the type of thing where I think he exerts himself because he knows he can't do all those things.
Yeah.
Like, now we're just gonna go through describing the boat for a minute and all the things they have underneath, and we know that I love a list because they got Oh, excuse me. Welcome to the underside of the ship in the food storage. We got everything you need. We got sacks of flour, casks of water and beer, barrels of pork, jars of honey, skin bottles of wine, apples, nuts, cheese, biscuits, turnips, sides of bacon, hung hams, and strings of onions.
Damn.
Including hammocks for the off-duty guys that are napping because they're off-duty.
Wow. That was good. I don't even remember all that list, but it sounds really good.
So I guess like now is when they do like the proper room assignments, which is
Right.
just, boys to the back, girls to the front. It's kind of, I feel like they kind of elongate this whole part for no reason. This is very much like walking through the woods of Narnia to get to the point, which is just kind of escalating to Eustace and Reba Cheap facing off.
It also feels like a little bit of like school, like you're
Per se.
you're learning about boats, you're learning about starboard and port and stern and poop deck, and like this thing, unlike a steam powered boat where all the smelly stuff is put at the back because they're pushing forward for sailing, they put it all at the front because the wind is coming from behind. I'm like, dang, I'm learning so much reading this book. So I feel like that's why it's there, is because then kids will just have this
More boat knowledge.
yeah, just in case you need to go sail, you need to escape your family island and sail to go save the heart of the sea.
I feel like if I was going to escape people, I'd Little Prince and just take a plane, but that's just me because I need air. Excuse me. So Lou hadn't given him the stuff. This was all a tour leading up to the room where Eustace is at, and she gives him a drop, and he says it's beastly stuff, and he's threatening to sue her with what legal aid? But
I'm sure his parents have a lawyer
oh,
that they talk about all the time.
I'm like, is one of them not a lawyer? I don't know, but basically, Eustace just thinks he can bully and belittle and be awful to Reba Cheap, not realizing that Reba Cheap basically is like, if you're gonna fuck around, you can find out. So either fight me or fight me.
Yeah, pick up a sword, bitch.
You're gonna run your mouth, you can pick up a sword. Yeah, exactly.
Say it with your sword.
Yeah, and Eustace, of course, like most cowards, then declares that he's a pacifist. And here's my bullshit with that. If you can be vicious and violent with your words, you are not a pacifist. A pacifist does not use any form of tactic of violence to hurt people, and it doesn't matter if there are no blows to your body. You can break someone just by talking at them. So do not call yourself a pacifist if you're out here actively doing harm. Anyway, so he cowers away essentially because everybody, I think he's waiting for everyone to like be like, no, you're like, that's not going to happen. You're not going to fight. But literally everyone is like, yeah, you two should fight because this is Narnia.
Yeah, you should fuck around and find out, Eustace.
Yeah, like they know he's not going to kill him or like mortally wound him. They know how skilled he is. Honestly, if anything, I'd be worried about Eustace hurting himself or maybe somebody else on accident. Never Reap It Cheap, but eventually he just sulks off back to his room because, yeah, I don't know. It's like he still thinks that he can go home, and they're like, we can't. We could send you to the moon more easily than we can send you back to where you came from, basically. And I think that's when it finally clicks in his head that he is not going anywhere. He is on this boat. He is here, and then he
kind of shuts down.
Yeah, and I get it. If I was all of a sudden in a ship in the middle of nowhere, I don't really care the circumstances. I don't want to be on a fucking boat.
Yeah,
in the middle of the ocean.
We know that it's Narnia. It's fun time. Yeah. It's dangerous, but it's fun time. But imagine the people that you see in sci-fi movies and shit like that when they crash land on a different planet, and they're like, fuck, because there's no way to get back because their ship is broken. In this case, there's no giant picture frame hanging in the sky for them to crawl back through. Like,
there's no tunnel. There's no tree tunnel. There's no wardrobe.
And he does fall back on his, I want to say, delusions that he's in the real world, but like,
I think it's like that, like keeping like a self-preservation thing because he has no frame of reference for fantasy and the unknown. That like,
he just is like processing it in bits,
or just like he cannot fathom that. I think is more what it is. He has the mind of like a 7-year-old man, basically, who.
Starts writing in his journal.
Yeah, grew up in a law firm. Yeah, so he starts writing a journal. I have
in his little black book.
Yeah, I mean his little black book. It's basically his shit list where he just talks about everything that's happening. It's more extreme and awful and just everything.
He's the victim.
Yeah, exactly. This is all, just like I was dragged here. This ship is terrible. Like Caspian thinks he's so funny, and like it's
I was
just
just trying to tell him about real boats, but nobody listened, and Ed and Lou didn't back me up. Like, and he's talking. He's like, "Oh, and they didn't like when I said that I was a Republican." Oh,
oh god, I'm sorry. I'm all turned around because like yeah, like after his journal entry, like when he's all puffed up and high in his own bullshit is when the fight happens because it's not even his words. He decides that he's gonna pick Cheapy up by his tail and swing him
at that
around.
point,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the final straw. Because I mean, I think before everybody, like maybe he was just like fight me and find out, and that's why Eustace got so pissed off because he's like, fine, I will. You're just a little mouse, and he stabs him in the hand a couple of times. It's like, and then this is where he does the whole pacifist bit, and like of course Lucy fixes his hand, but like
yeah. And Repeat after that just smacks him a couple times with the flat, like very whippy, like getting slapped. And then he just apologizes and goes to sulk for the next chapter.
lay on his side.
Which is chapter 3, The Lone Islands. We finally have land ho.
Land in sight.
Yeah, except I say land in sight, not land ho.
Whatever.
Whatever. Oh, and they keep fucking calling it the poop. I was so
Oh.
hoping they weren't gonna just keep calling it the poop.
Oh,
and
it is.
They do the
It
poop.
is the poop.
Oh, just call it the poop deck, please.
Yeah.
Please.
Also, just like I don't know, call it the deck.
Yeah, just the main deck, the deck. There's
Bradley.
only one. You don't
Yeah,
call it anything. You call it
Jessica.
the stern. You call it the bow. You just call it the deck.
We're not gonna call it the Jessica.
Yes, the Jessica.
I kind of like the Bradley for some reason,
The Bradley.
but it's spelled Braudleygehn.
Oh my god. Bradley.
So we see one of the Lone Islands, Felamath,
Felamath.
which is like a low green hill in the sea, and then like behind it, further off, is like the gray slopes of its sister, Dorn. Dorn.
Dorn. I kind of like Dorn. Like
Yeah, it's just
door
Dorn
with an N.
Door with an N.
Yeah.
Welcome to the island of Dorn. That's Dorn. It's Door with an N. Which belongs to Narnia because apparently it's thanks to the White Witch, which is just casual information that Ed has in his pockets.
Oh yeah, according to the author.
Yeah.
It is.
So, yeah, this is my favorite because I was like, why don't we? I feel like I would have taken a better note than that, and that's because there isn't anything
Yeah,
written.
according to the author, it is unknown how the islands became attached to the crown of Narnia, and says it may be brought up in another book if he ever finds out what happens. If he ever finds out what happens, what in the Lemony Snicket?
Oh, and also the crown.
noted.
Well, the crown obtains things the same way the crown has always obtained things, by any means necessary. So could have just left it there, but lest we disparage the queen.
The Queen, the Queen, the Queen.
I was gonna say rest in peace, but
the Queen, the Queen.
she's burning in hell.
Oh yeah, and Edmund's like, well, we're not gonna fucking stop here because it's just got sheep. We're gonna go to Dorne because that's where the people live.
Yeah, like Felamath is just sheep.
It's just sheep. But Lucy's like, oh, but it's so nice. It's so, she likes the quote air of loneliness, surrounded by nothing but sheep and green hills.
Just getting to walk because like they've been on a ship for like what, like 3-4 days, at least 3 days.
Yeah, three to 4 days. And yeah, just to walk across. It's a very small island, and it's just some green sloping hills. She doesn't have any shoes, so she's like, come on, like, let's just do it. We're in Narnia, let's just have the adventure. We're on the adventure, let's have the adventure. Caspian's like, fuck yeah, let's fucking walk across the island. Ship's gonna pick us up on the other side.
Yeah, just go for a bushwalk.
And then, again, the author does a lot of popping in. Mr. C.S. Lewis. And we are told that Caspian would not have made this decision if he had had more experience. So we know it probably will not end well for our team. But Lucy's getting her grounding work in, Mother Nature, feet on the ground.
Yeah, she's having her return to nature Coachella moment.
Yeah.
And like, it's warm and it smells like fresh earth, which I'm sure is a really nice change after the salty air and everything. And, they see the Dawn Treader disappear, and like when they're a crop. When they're across the top of Dorne, they're like separated by a mile-wide channel, which is between Felamath and Arva,
Arva, yes.
which is off in the distance. So very small
And
islands.
Arva seems like it might be named, I think, Tarva is
Like
the name of the planet.
mm-hmm.
And Alambel. We get a bird mention. Tweet, 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 bird mention. We have a lark singing, which is one of our only birds, really, besides the dang seagull, that gets mentioned since we're on the ocean so much. So I looked it up. And the lark, in mythology and literature, stands for daybreak. Larks have symbolic implications that relate to spiritual awakenings. Renaissance painters sometimes symbolize Christ with the lark. It's the beginning of their adventure. They get a little lark, which is, I feel like, a good omen.
Yeah.
Even though the author just kind of told us that maybe something not great is about to happen.
I mean, foreshadow, bitch. Let's go. Especially because he describes what happens next as a group of 6 or 7 men. You think you'd be able to count, or at least just come up with a number, but like they look pretty rough. So
Armed, burly men. Oh no.
hanging out on an island all together sounds gay. But in Caspian's like, let's not tell them who we are, because like it's been a really long time since anyone from Narnia has probably spoken to these people, and like, what if you call yourself king? And like, people might not be too stoked to hear that he's calling himself king, because you can't expect to wield supreme power just because some watery tart threw a sword at you. Strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Supreme executive power derives from a mandate from the masses, not from some farcical aquatic ceremony. Basically, he's like, let's not tell him I'm king. Let's just roll through, and like, we'll come back with a larger army if we need to reconquer you. But one of the guys is like, a good morning to you.
Good morning.
And a good morning to you. Which, yeah, then Caspian's like, stop. And he's like, do y'all have a governor?
Yeah.
And they do. They have Governor Gumpus.
Gumpus. They're like, but have a drink with us first. Red
Yeah.
flag number 1. Red
Well,
flag number 1.
He's over at Narrowhaven, so have a drink with us.
And with one nod, 5 of the men overpower the rest of the team, which is Caspian, Edmund, Eustace, Lucy, and Reapy Cheap.
They got.
They got got. They
Yeah.
got got. They get tied up. And
Also, it's the morning.
yeah, like,
Why y'all drinking in the morning? What is this, Australia? This
I mean,
brunch?
no, this is Felamath, baby.
Mhm.
This is Durn.
So they got, and they're talking about, 200 crescents for Reepicheep. Honestly, like, you could get 3 or 4. I'd shoot for 5. I don't actually
a
understand the
talking mouse.
Oh.
I did do some money translations. But yeah, they got got by slave traders, human traffickers.
Yeah, essentially, and like he's just basically the pelican from the Flintstones. Like, it's a living. Like,
Yeah.
this is an acceptable thing to do, and like, no remorse for anybody. But also, Caspian was just talking about conquering them. So like,
Right. Who's really...
who's right and who's wrong?
And yeah, he says 200 crescents, and
Collarman crescents.
yeah, Collarman crescents are apparently about 1/3 of a pound, according to the Narnia wiki. I didn't know that there was an exchange rate between the human and Narnian currency, but they're gonna sell Reapy Cheap for at least $85 only.
Assuming that a pound's like $1, and like,
Because I did a translation from pounds to
Are we up?
U.S. dollars too.
hurry up, read down.
What? Oh, this is fine.
No, I'm sorry.
Volume?
The pound. Like, is
Oh.
a pound higher
I
than
think-
$1?
I think pound is higher than dollar.
Okay, it's so unimportant, but essentially it's just like they're getting a good deal. Also, like, what is time at this point? Who knows how much anything costs? So
Right.
basically, our group got. They're being sold, and things are not really getting good at this point. But because Eustace is asking to speak to the British consulate,
Oh
which
my
is
God.
probably hilarious because like they don't understand what the fuck he's saying. And Reba Cheap is running his mouth, and even though he's saying like really awful things, they kind of find it entertaining.
They think he's like a trained animal.
he's like
or
a
something.
tiny little Mushka Bianca del Rio just coming for you, and they love it. They
Yeah.
love it.
They're like,
So,
oh, he's not gonna hurt us.
or
But,
like they think he's been trained to say those
right,
things,
they don't
which
think
is
that he's consciously saying the things. They think he's just repeating
mm-hmm.
like a parrot.
So,
And yeah, they have plans to take them to Narrow Haven for market the next day to sell them. And I mean, at least that's where they were going to begin with. So
free ride.
there's a tiny silver lining.
Mm-hmm. So basically, the Dawn Treader is still coming to get them, and they are kind of going to where they need to go, just not exactly the way they thought they'd get there. And I imagine, they're down the shores of like Dorne, and like I'm assuming it's like it's evening time, so like there aren't a ton of people out, but a dude approaches the kidnappers, and the main guy's name is Pug,
Pug is the name of the main guy.
which, all right.
I didn't do name origins for that.
I, I can imagine what he looks like.
Oh yeah.
But, basically he gestures to Caspian. He's like, how much for the boy? Nobody else, just Caspian. And like Pug starts to rattle off like some bullshit story about Caspian, like presumably trying to talk him up and like, get a bigger price.
300 crescents.
Right. And the man's not interested. And he's like, no, I'm going to give you 150.
63 bucks.
And Lucy is, of course, very upset and begs for them not to be separated. But Caspian screams at her with his eyes, kind of like not in a just being like, be quiet, like, don't get yourself hurt, essentially. And the man actually apologizes to Lucy and's like, I'm sorry, I can't afford to buy all of you. But he like tells Pug that he has to treat them well, otherwise something bad will happen to him. So it's kind of a weird situation. Like he's being really nice to these people.
Weird.
Which,
and Lucy's crying.
Of course.
It's like 100 bajillion% scarier for her than it is for Caspian.
Right. Well, and also
Pug, young girl being trafficked.
Yeah, and Pug's like, he says that he's going to treat them like his own children, which.
So you would sell your own children on the market?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
So Caspian's leaving, Edmund's frozen, Lucy's sobbing, and Caspian is like, I'm sure it's all going to be okay. Like, I mean, what else is there except for more story? So, and then like Lucy is still crying, and Pug's like, shut up. You need to look good for tomorrow, so stop crying.
And they get taken to the ship, and they meet a lot of other unfortunate people who got mostly Galmanians and Terebinthians.
Nobody they knew.
No, and we cut back from the group to Caspian, and the guy's like,
Caspian's having a much better time.
Yeah, the guy's like, oh, you don't need to fear me. I bought you because you remind me of somebody that
for
I
his
knew.
Face.
Yeah, I bought you for your face. Scary as to fight. Like, are you gonna chop it off?
Because he reminds him of someone.
His old master, the king of Narnia, Caspian.
King Caspian.
The ninth.
And then Caspian just says he is the king, which is true. But this man obviously means your father, King Caspian, not you. Or
Caspian the ninth.
Yeah,
and he's like, well, I am King Caspian.
But also like between his looks and his skills, like he's the guy can tell that it's him, and then we find out that this guy is not just any guy. He's one of our guys that you've been looking for. It's Lord Burn.
Check one
Bernie,
off of our
Bernie,
7,
Bernie.
please. Lord Burn, yes.
And Bernie, he kisses Caspian's ring, and Caspian tells him that Narnia will cover it will cover the buying fee for him, essentially. But Bernie basically has rigged the system so that Pug never actually really gets paid for the evil things he does. So honestly, like a man who rigs a system so that evil people can't win, that is a Bernie for the people. That is a Bernie for Narnia.
Yes. And he's tried to stop it, like officially, but this is the best that he can do.
Right? But how did he end up here?
We have a short story time. He had traveled this way with the 6 other lords, but he fell in love on this island, and he stayed there forever. No need to go back to a kingdom which had fallen to the hands of a tyrant. So he basically just fell in love, and then he was like, well, I'm happy here, so I don't need to go further. I don't need to go back. My king's dead.
Yeah.
Which is like...
Yeah.
I don't know. as a Lord of Narnia, who's to say what the right thing to do is?
Yeah, I've
But
never
he's
been a
alive
lord.
now to help them now, so it's probably meant to be.
And I guess, I mean, if anything, him staying there probably bettered that part of the world because what if he hadn't been there to, like,
Yeah, he would
help
have
these
been, if he
people?
had
I
gone
mean,
back, he would have been dead, and then we would have been on the hunt for the remaining six lords. That's not very fun.
yeah, it's not as biblical. No one cares about.
No one cares about six lords.
So, yeah, I mean, he was just essentially is kind of like, okay, so the governor Gumpus is fine with the Narnian king, but he's probably going to be distrustful. So he's like, do you have backup? Do you have a Narnian port squad?
Yeah, because he says that, like, the governor, Gumpus, he's doing all these acts. He's saying, oh, I'm doing this, in the name of the king, but it's kind of just, he's doing whatever he wants. And Caspian's like, no, we don't have anybody else. It's just my one ship.
And 30 swords.
Yeah.
Also, I wrote this episode is brought to you by the Narnian Brood Squad, but
The Narnian Brute Squad. I do have Gumpus name meaning here,
oh yeah,
which was I wasn't really expecting to find anything for it, and I actually found something that seems very specifically picked for this character because of his personality. I mean, politician, gross guy. But Gumpus means, quote, by tiny little nails in medieval Latin. The word Gumphus subtilibus appears in the 13th century poem and work Alinus ab Insulis, where it describes how the soul is attached to the body by tiny little nails. Gumpus.
interesting.
And this person said that I think is why he had the name Gumpus. They suggest that since the books are, very medieval heavy, this is kind of, meant to signify this guy has an old worldview. He's like, because C.S. Lewis kind of talked about this specific thing and didn't really believe in it. He's like, that's stupid. What are you talking about? The soul is attached to the body by tiny nails. Like, what are you talking about? And so he named this guy after that idea because he's just like, what are you? That is so behind. That is so old world. Like, how could you believe that? And so it's just his little, like, shade, just a little shade reference from him to people with this old Victorian idea of a soul and the world and the afterlife. Maybe it means nothing to Joel, and it just is like it sounds like ass. Gonna pass.
Maybe you just needed a G name because otherwise there was just too many other the same letters. Who knows? But basically, they need to spook him into thinking that they have like a bigger army coming because Gumpus is a chicken heart. And if he thinks that they've got like, a giant army behind them, he's going to listen versus, do the usual, like trying to, well, I guess the usual what? We don't know. Let's find out. Bernie walks Caspian down to the edge of the coast and Caspian hisses his horn. Again, not to be confused with Susan's horn, which we know is back in Narnia with Trumpkin, just in case things go tits up again. And Drinian was, on lookout for the signal, which, of course, he recognized the royal horn. I'm sure it's just like, hey!
I'm sure that's exactly how it sounds.
Hey! That's what all horns sound like, right? And so Caspian and Bernie get on board, and Bernie basically kind of backseat drives them to get them to a better position. He's like, you got to blast the king's banner, the shields, and then you have to send, like, as many men as possible and just basically, like,
Right, get them all on the top of the ship,
Yeah.
with all shields up, swords out, like
fake signals.
He lends them,
Or
he's
act like
you
they're
can-
fake signaling.
Yeah,
Or
he's
they're
like, you
signaling.
can borrow a boat of mine, and we'll fill that one up. And,
And they're turning their cap sideways and they're pulling on their ear and they're flicking their nose. And I think,
well, this is the plan. That's gonna happen the next morning.
oh, excuse me.
He's just telling them the plan as if because they don't do that until they wake up early next morning. But they go to Bernie's house and they have a wonderful time with his family. And Caspian feels a little guilty about it because everybody else is on a slave ship and he's here like meeting his wife and all the stuff. And Bernie sends a messenger into the next chapter to prepare some stuff for tomorrow.
He sends the messenger into the next chapter.
He does.
Yeah. Well, and it's another one of our favorite types of titles. Chapter 4. What Caspian did there.
Did where?
There. People in the place. Breakfast at Bernie's.
Breakfast at Bernie's.
Breakfast at Bernie's. You haven't lived until you've had breakfast at Bernie's. They load up in their chainmail and they're heading for the jetty of Narrowhaven, which is like kind of an epic song.
Oh yeah.
And there's like, and Bernie's like gathered a bunch of people to be like the crowd cheering for them. Like really, he's like, oh no, I got my people. We're gonna totally make this look like we're ready. And
that was the work that he had his friend doing. He sent him to go rally the people to cheer for the king.
Yeah. The opposite of rabble rousing, basically.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they need the plan. The plan totally works. And like, you know, bringing in, and like, you know, and everybody's just like, oh, the new king of Narnia is so handsome. Wow, 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 wow. And they're all shouting and they're cheering. And, you know, the crew gets up to the gates and then Caspian has his trumpeter blow a blast. Open for the King of Narnia, come to visit his trusty and well-beloved servant, the governor of the Lone Islands. And then this part is giving the gatekeeper the Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Only the little postern opened and out came a trousled fellow with a dirty old hat on his head instead of a helmet and a rusty old pike in his hand. He blinked at the flashing figures before him. Which I guess is his way of saying you can't see his efficiency. Mm-hmm. Because the governor doesn't take interviews without appointments. Set between 9 and 10 p.m. second Saturday every month. I don't know what region of England that person was from, but they've definitely had a concussion or two. Anyway, they're like, nah.
Yeah, they're like, no, we're the king. We're coming in.
Uncover before Narnia, you dog. And Bernie smacks off his hat, and basically, yeah, they go in, they come across these guards who are, I'm assuming, day drunk.
I don't think they are, really. They're just hanging out.
They're just slacking off? Okay.
Yeah, they're just...
One of them's drunk.
They're just sitting there hanging out.
Yeah, and they're like shitty armor, like not doing anything because there's nothing happening. Nothing ever happens.
But Caspian tells the captain to get the men a cask of wine to drink today, so he tells them to get day drunk.
Actually, no, he asks if there's a captain, and someone's like, I am, more or less, if you know what I mean. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
and he's like, these people need to have this armor polished, have them looking battle ready tomorrow.
And like, that person isn't wearing armor. He's like dressed like a dandy.
Yeah, like a regular ass
ding dong dandy.
What the hell?
Like,
this is some loose goose castle shit.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, yeah, they're unprepared, but that's perfect because that's what they needed, because they were also unprepared because, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure Caspian's like, these guys are goofed right now, but I'm sure if they needed to, they could rally and then we'd be fucked. So he just kind of does like a whole spiel, like, just, you know, basically.
Pete? Who, Pete?
Oh, did I say Pete? I thought I said he.
You might have said he.
Or just like Caspian just like basically like tells them to go drink wine and party because tomorrow they need to be there at noon to, like, you know, be looking fetch and looking sharp, which is brilliant because they're not going to show up at noon tomorrow. No, they're going to be
drunk
over, or just still drunk.
Yeah, drinking all night.
A
cask. That sounds like a lot. It's like a big old barrel, right?
Yeah, I figured. I mean, even just palming it. I mean, how big is your stomach? Was that you or me?
That was me.
And then Bernie gives a 3 cheers for the king. And the soldiers they're stoked because all they heard was wine.
Yeah, they're like, all right, bye, see you tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. And then, you know, obviously they're not fussed about him getting to Gumpus, who is a bilious-looking man with hair that had once been red and was now mostly gray.
and I didn't know what the word bilious meant, so I looked it up, and it said excuse me, stomach, speaking of bilious, it might be pronounced bilious because it's of or relating to a yellow or greenish fluid that is secreted by the liver. Is described as describe bilious is sometimes used to describe the feelings or behavior of someone who is extremely angry or bad-tempered. Like, damn, their stomach must be upset. Like, they're
Okay.
fucking
Maybe
annoying.
bilious. That would make
Bilious,
more
yeah.
sense.
So he's described as this, like, he's gross and he is acting in a way that makes it seem like he's probably got an upset tummy.
And he barely glances at them and gives them the no interviews without appointments except between 9 and 10 p.m. on second Saturdays. Like, just.
Yeah, and Byrne and Jernian just walk up and toss his table across the hall.
Yeah, because Caspian nods at them and they're like, yes, we planned this, but like.
Just like scared, bad cop, good king.
And then they pick him up, which, like, or actually, when they throw his table, it scatters a cascade of letters, dossiers, ink pots, pens, sealing wax, and other documents. And then with their pincers of steel, pick him up. But C.S. Lewis does mention that they're not as rough with him as they were with the table, just like forceful enough that it's like, now see her.
Right, but they take him out of his own throne and they have Caspian sit there. And he sits there with his sword, like, across his knees, like, badass. Just sitting there in this dude's throne.
It's giving Dr. Frankenfurter in this moment where it's just like, he's just like, where's my parade, bitch?
Yeah. You have not given us quite the welcome we expected. We are the King of Narnia. And he's like, oh, it wasn't in my minutes. You're supposed to request an application. An application?
I'm
the king?
You. Also, where's our tribute for the last 150 years that you just haven't paid? But you know what? It's fine because you can pay for it. All 150 years of tribute. Like, just.
Because apparently that's in their law.
Which.
I also don't get, like, he said that the islands haven't paid their dues in the last 150 years, but Caspian's father only died 16 years previously. So, if it's to be, well, I guess Caspian the Ninth, the conqueror of Narnia, like he was part of that, right? Or no, that was Caspian the something else.
I mean, he could also just be, just lying and spitballing, or like,
Right.
I mean, but either way, I mean, like, Gumpus is trying to get himself out of it, and he definitely thinks that he can, like, outsmart Caspian, and
Yeah,
like
his bureaucracy.
yeah, and then he makes an ageist move, just like like, I'm smarter than you because I'm older. Yeah, essentially because, Caspian is telling him that enslaving and selling people is disgusting, and essentially Gumpus is just trying to say it's a lucrative market, but here's the thing. Shut the fuck up, Gumpus. Like,
Yeah.
Caspian may be young, but he knows that the sale and enslavement of people is fucking vile and disgusting. So he pretty much just, like, shuts it down, and he basically threatens to cut off their supply of, like, trade and whatnot. And there's some big swings he's taking.
He's very kingly here. He's like, no, the slave trade will stop. And Gumpus is like, well, I'm not going to take on the responsibility of the economy falling apart. Caspian says, very well then. We will relieve you of your office.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take on the okay,
Right.
then you won't.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're putting the clock back. You're stopping progress. And then Caspian says, I have seen them both in an egg. We call it going bad in Narnia. So, he fires him, says, bye, bitch. And in front of him has Bernie kneel.
Yeah, and makes Byrne Duke of the Lone Islands.
He makes him put his hands between Caspian's, which I was like, I got so hung up on trying to figure out, like, is it like both together? Like, he's holding his hands like
I
you're
have like a double pray.
Okay, so like super prayer.
Yeah.
But instead of making him the governor, yeah, he makes him duke, and governors are over. Governors, your time is done.
And the secretaries come in and they're like, oh, we have to do it all on the paperwork, and it's gonna take 3 months and 5 days and 20. And Bren is like, no, you're gonna do it, or you're gonna get
Flogged.
flogged, which is wild.
Yeah.
But
Move,
I guess,
move it or flog it, bitch.
yeah, the king says. The king says.
Right? And then Caspian calls 1-800-horses for him and the crew, and everybody rides up to save, the rest of the crew who has been waiting for them
Yes.
this whole
At the
time.
market. And we come across Pug, who is actively auctioning off a young Terabinthian boy under 25 when Caspian approaches, and a lot of people bow. They already, they heard the procession in the morning, and they're pulling down their neighbors, and they're like, this is the fucking king. You better fucking bow right now.
Yeah, Duke Burns like, get on your knees and pray.
But his friends, Lucy, Edmund, and Reapy Cheap, were already sold. But the guy that bought them was sticking around to buy more people. But luckily, that meant the kids had not left yet.
And Caspian says every enslaved person is free. Like,
Yeah, every person that is here right now that can hear this that is enslaved is free.
and every other enslaved person and every enslaved person
Yes.
is now free.
Slavery is illegal.
Which Pug's like, what am I gonna do to make money? Like, or yeah, actually that's what happened. So he declares they're all free. Pug says that his friends have been sold, which they're still there, which of course there's much rejoicing. Everybody's reunited, and the men who bought the Narnians are like whatever, but they just go over to Pug and they expected,
They're like, I want my money back now.
yeah, and the they're both Calormen, and they're very polite to Caspian, and they expect to get their money back, which I mean, I guess whatever.
I guess.
But yeah, then Pug's like, oh, does your majesty mean to beggar me? And Caspian says, you have lived on broken hearts all your life, and if you are beggared, it is better to be a beggar than enslaved.
Boom, bitch, get out the way.
So yeah, everybody's back together except for Eustace.
Yeah, he hadn't got sold because he was too much of a grumble puss.
Yeah, they nicknamed him Sulky. Pug couldn't give him away.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, we'll take this one too," and they were like, "I don't want. I don't want that one."
Right, and
But whatever, they get him back, and everybody is safe and sound, and nobody got hurt or touched in any sort of way. Thank God.
Right. Eustace thought Caspian was at a spa, which
He basically was.
yeah, comparatively, and but they have their big feast at the castle of Narrowhaven, and they cheer to tomorrow.
Yes.
I noticed he wrote it's capital TO dash morrow, and
Tomorrow.
I was like, is that different than tomorrow?
No, I think he's just being fancy.
I guess so. And then they go to sleep because they got
a real adventure tomorrow because after these lone islands, it's uncharted. They've got no idea what's coming.
yeah, it's prep time.
But in the meantime, the ship was pulled up onto land for a checkup and filled with food and water, but only enough to last 28 days. So,
2 weeks.
yeah, let's hope that they land somewhere with food and stuff before
Yeah,
then,
or,
because
like,
that's really not that long for they don't really ever give a specific number. They say less than 50 men. I feel like it's around
I mean, Caspian
high
said 30
20s,
swords.
30,
Yeah.
like 30s.
But yeah, they have 2 weeks of sailing east before they have to turn around if they have 28 days of food, I guess, or approximately.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, what are you gonna do? They don't really have a bigger ship, so it's this or nothing. But Caspian goes around questioning all the old sea captains in Narrowhaven, which honestly would be such a hilarious montage to watch of him just going around, because a lot of these dudes,
Mockumentary style.
right? Because they all have these wild stories about islands full of headless men, or islands that float, or fire that burns along the water, but nobody actually knows what's there.
Surges of sea that wrapped around the rim of the world, flat earthers.
Right, but
And the men that you're looking for are probably at the bottom of the ocean.
right, yeah. Which, I mean, honestly, and Caspian, when Caspian says it's beyond the end of the world, which is Aslan's country, which according to Reepicheep's father, you can't actually get to. I don't know if anybody else. I mean, they ask
Right.
Reepicheep how he knows, and he's like, "Oh, that's what my dad said."
Oh,
So,
yeah, that's the story I heard.
which maybe you can, maybe you can't, but then Bern and Caspian go to the highest point of Arvra, because why not? And
I think
then
that's probably where he waited, because he starts reminiscing about like his
I
6
see.
friends sailed off, and so this is probably where he watched
And
them
then
all sail away, and he never saw them again into the unknown.
oh yeah, see it. I mean, yeah, I feel like that would
And
be
he asks Caspian not to go.
yeah, because he's worried. Well, he's also I think he's ashamed that he stayed behind while they ventured off. But I mean, he's worried that the ending of
Yeah, shutting down this slave market is going to create like a bunch of
like
problems
yeah
for the
and
people.
war. But Caspian made an oath. And an oath is an oath.
When an oath is an oath is an oath.
Also, what is he going to tell Reepicheep? That they're
Yeah.
not going to go?
Yeah,
Come
sorry, we're
on.
gonna turn around Reepicheep.
You look in that.
Reepicheep would take the boat by
I
himself.
dare you to look in that mouse's face and tell him you're not going. Absolutely not. But, that wraps it up. We're about ready to get back on the sea again in chapter 5.
The storm and what came of it.
He's getting lazy with these
You know,
titles.
they're really like, come on.
So it's been about 3 weeks.
3 weeks. They stayed for. I thought they had somewhere to be. I thought they were gonna leave the next day, and then they stayed for 3 weeks. Y'all have a year and a day, and you're eating up the time. You got 30 days to the islands, and now another 3 weeks on the island.
Because it took 2 days to get everybody back. So that means, then like, what were you, what?
Well, they were like redoing
fixing the
the
boat,
boat and
yeah.
doing all of the things, but they finally sail away, and everyone's cheering, and there's trumpeting, and everyone, yay, bye-bye.
And they have their purple sails. Purple is a royal color.
royal, and then it's
And Lucy's living her best life.
she's got some new fucking
She loves
clothes.
being a boat, but she's got her buskins, which is like a calf high or like knee high boot, and she's got her cloaks and her jerkins, which I'm sure you googled because I was like, "What's a jerkin?" Nothing. What's a jerkin? You? Which is
It's just like the basic like Renaissance-y shirt, right?
it's like
With
not
the-
a corset really because like men wear, but it's like a just and throw sleeveless kind of like fancy
Yes,
outer layer.
and scarves. Don't forget the scarves.
Oh, and the scarf.
Because she's on a boat, and boat
Scarves,
girls wear
darling.
scarves.
The scarf. Yeah, so they're
And it's great.
having a great time. She's playing chess.
Yeah, see, here she is. Fucking Lucy's the one that plays chess. I swear. I swear if we watch this movie and they show this scene and it's Edmund playing chess, I'm going to smash the TV. I'm going to smash it.
But Lucy loves playing with him because, like, one, he's trying to move these pieces.
Oh, she
which-
plays with Reepicheep, yeah.
And then also he keeps forgetting the, like, rules of chess and then just, like, goes for, like, battle tactics, which is
Yeah.
kind of adorable and
Yeah,
hilarious.
he's throwing his knight in to fight a king or a queen and a rook, a castle. It's like, well, that's not how chess. But you, but the knight must save everybody.
Right. For his mind was full of forlorn
Oh.
hopes, death or glory charges, and the last stands. But, oh snap, here comes the storm. We got a great rack of clouds building itself up on the west with amazing speed. A gap torn in it and a yellow sunset poured through the gap. The air is growing cold, waves behind them that seemed to take on unusual shapes, and the sea was a drab yellowish color like a dirty canvas. Yeah, so
A storm is approaching.
it's getting bad, and like the ship's moving. Of course, the ship seems to be moving uneasily, like she knows there's danger, and like then it's all hands on deck, and like they put out the galley fire, they pull in the sail, they fasten the canvas, or fasten canvases over the doorways and hatches with strips of wood called battens, aka batten down the hatches, which is confusing because batten down the hatches also means prepare for trouble. So I'm like. I mean, porque no los dos, I guess,
Yeah.
so.
I was stressed reading this portion also because I listened to these like ambient tracks with the forest sounds and different things when I was reading, and I was listening to like a nice oceany one for most of the book, and then I started reading this and I said to myself, I've got to put like a stormy sea one on, and so I did. my heart rate was going up just listening to the sound of like the waves and the crashing and the things, and I was reading it. I was like, oh my god.
Basically, I mean, if you're watching the movie, they provide sound. If you're reading the books, I think we both agree it's more fun to have a soundtrack, because it seems like everything goes sour very quickly. Like the storm hits them before they even finish, and like the spooky rocking on the waves is creating like giant valleys in the water. Like I think of those TikTok reels that are like, does this trigger your fear? And it's like that audio that's like, I fucking hate that audio. Makes me want to punch someone in the face. No, not anyone in particular. Anyone who likes pirates. Anyway, no thanks. The ship feels like it's spinning around. Hard pass. There's water all over the
Probably
deck.
is spinning around.
Tossing you about, trying to not get sucked into the sea. I am with Eustace. Fuck this. I am a Pisces, not a masochist.
And on top of that, this storm goes on so long, one could hardly remember a time before it had begun. You're telling me they deal with this shit for days? I would be vomiting left and right, except you can't open a window to vomit because it's probably going to be the fucking ocean in your face.
Yeah, and no one can rest because you're freaked out.
All hands on deck.
Yeah, and oh god, it just sounds awful. And like this whole time, Eustace is writing in his journal.
My heart is pumping about it now because there's 3 men always have to be at the tiller, like the rudder, trying to keep course, and there have to be men at the pump, which I was like, the pump, like pumping water out, and it literally is their hand pumping water out of like a small wooden, it's like some weird, seal or whatever, but it's like a hole that has a wooden pole that you kind of like let water out and pump it down. I'm like, that would take ages.
Oh yeah, and then like initially Lucy almost gets swept. I'm like, what? Okay, I get that the storm came on fast, but like I'm just like, the second they said batten down the hatches,
she should have been inside the hatches.
That's the Queen of Narnia. Get your ass.
Yeah, they wait too long she waits too long, and it's not her first. This ain't her first rodeo.
This ain't her first pleasure cruise, and she's like soaking wet and freezing, and she does make it. She's okay, but
they do lose one soldier. They do lose one sailor.
One unnamed sailor.
One unnamed. R.I.P. Pour one out. And we get another Eustace diary entry here. He claims it lasted 13 days and 13 nights. Everyone else only said it was 12.
Right, which like based on, so this first entry, his first entry September 3rd, and then it ends on September 11th. But like everything he's talking about, it has all the energy of my teenage live journal entries, where it's just everything is so much worse. All the time everything takes so much longer than it does. Everyone is rude to him. They don't listen to him. He's just ignored, and
Right, they're on small rations of water because they lost a couple barrels, so they're only allowed a half a pint of water a day. But the mast also broke, so they don't have a sail, so everybody has to row, and he even has to row, and he didn't have to row before.
Do you want to die?
Yeah, like you see Caspian right behind you also fucking rowing.
Like, that's the King of Narnia, bitch. Show some respect.
He's like, let's go back to the Lone Islands, even though that's gonna take 18 days, and they only have 16 days left of food. So they have to keep going forward.
Right. And, who knows how long it actually lasted, but let's assume it was like the whole 2 weeks they had to travel east was spent in a storm, which is giving a whole lot of like supernatural sort of energy. But anyway, it's now September 11th, which is a very memorable day for Eustace.
September 11th. I've got all these things.
Never forget.
I learned what the word becalmed meant. It means unable to move due to lack of winds. Because basically, one of the days is like, we were becalmed, nothing happened. Little rations, little water. I was like, becalmed? That means like, I thought it just meant nothing happened, but it's a specific sailing term for like low air, like no wind. We've got September 6th here, and Eustace is saying he's got a fever, and he's like lying to his journal, almost as if he would then be able to use it later as evidence that he's telling the truth. But you can tell that he's lying. even in the journal. Heaven knows I'm the last person to try to get any unfair advantage. Oh, and I'm just gonna go sneak and get some water in the middle of the night because I don't want to wake anybody up with asking. Like I don't want to burden them. They haven't been sleeping well. Come on, like
Oh, and also
you
they
know
haven't.
what you're doing.
Well, they haven't eaten any hot food during this whole time because of the storm, because the galley fire's out. So like they're eating like
Cold mush
charcuterie. Yeah.
bullshit probably. And Eustace goes to sneak some water, and Reapy Cheep is there guarding the water because, like we discussed earlier, when everybody else is rowing and working hard, Reapy Cheep can't, and so he does other things like guard the water because they're low on supplies, and he knows that
Eustace will
people
take it.
do people do things they wouldn't normally do when they're dehydrated.
Yeah.
So he's waiting there, and then he tries to spin it on Reapy. Well, why were you here? He's like, I'm fucking guarding the water. What the fuck are you on about? And Eustace has to apologize, and Caspian has to make an announcement. And yeah, they sail east, east, east. Land is finally in sight on September 9th, but they don't get there until
The 11th.
the 11th.
And it's hot.
It's hot, but they caught some fish, and Eustace eats the fish, even though he was formerly vegetarian. But when you're hungry and you're in Narnia and you've eaten cold gross for the last forever of your life, you're gonna eat the fish. I would eat the fish.
Have some trout.
Fresh fish, like fresh ocean fish, and they all get an extra ration of water. So they get a full pint of water, which is not like a whole bunch, but definitely much closer to how much water you should be drinking, let alone being on the open ocean.
And they come across, or finally they're in a bay, and there's cliffs and crags like a Norwegian fjords. And there's big old trees and mountains so tall they disappear into the clouds and with distant waterfalls. And it honestly sounds like a gorgeous painting, but IRL, it's silent and oppressive and
Yes, it's rather oppressive.
not welcoming to visitors. So naturally, they decide to go ashore, and they drink water and they washed up, and they're like, we got a bunch of shit to do.
Yeah. We also get another author warning, basically. It says, what awaited them on this island was going to concern Eustace more than anyone else. But it cannot be told in his words, because after September 11th, he forgot about keeping his diary for a long time. What? Is he... What?
It's like he knows he's being boring, so he has to pull you back in.
Yeah, he's like, don't worry, something's gonna happen soon.
I'm gonna figure out a plot point.
Yeah, they fill up the water casks. They're repairing broken ones. They need to chop a tree, preferably pine, for a new mast.
Right, they had to repair the sails.
They've got a lot to do.
Laundry.
And everybody is fucking tired and in rough shape, but
That's ship life, baby.
and then they're working. And Eustace is like, I thought we were gonna get a day off now that we landed. And it's like, well, there's stuff to do, and this land is not very fruitful. Like, it
Yeah,
can't
everybody's
stay here.
They all kind of pick jobs based on their skill set. Like the best hunters go off to look for meat and rah rah rah. And basically, while they're eating lunch, she's just like, "What if I just like leave?"
I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't really want to do the work today. I don't want to do the work today. And so he doesn't.
And he wanders off. He just kind of like gets up and leaves, and no one really notices because they were all so exhausted and eating, and like there's enough people there. It doesn't really matter. And the way it's described, it's like very quickly. It's quiet, and he can't hear anybody.
Woods.
But he's stoked, and he's like, I'm alone. I'm by myself. And he like just goes wandering off. It's so
His
bonkers.
Narnia body kicks in.
Like, yeah.
Narnia body.
Yeah, it just...
And he just like climbs to the top of the fucking mountain, or what, like not the whole mountain above the cloud. Well, actually, yeah. He climbs to the top thinking he'd be able to see down to the bay, but the clouds blocked his view. They're low clouds, but still, like, he climbed to the top of one of these mountains.
Not even realizing
Not
it.
even realizing it.
Because he wants to be far enough away that he's not bothered, but not far enough away that they leave him behind. But, like, there's no way Lucy would ever leave him
And he
behind.
doesn't. He's in a weird headspace, and he's
Yeah.
hungry and thirsty and
His
isolated,
his
and
negative thought spiral is
it's really
it's
spiraling.
really unfair to
And
himself, but yeah.
he just needs some time by himself, and so he curls up.
He does take
And
a lot of rests, it does say, when he gets to
mhm,
the, like, it says that that he's like becoming stronger in Narnia, but like he still has to take lots of breaks,
yeah,
and like, okay, whatever, like, at least you're fucking trying. But
and he lays down to take a nap, and immediately gets lonely.
he realizes for the first time in his life that he's lonely.
Yeah, well, he does have some time blindness because he lays down and he relaxes and rests, and then
He's so excited, and then
yeah, he feels loneliness, and he's like, wait, fuck, how long have I been here? How long have I been sitting? I don't really remember. And he's freaking out, and he's like, what if they left me? Like, now I'm gonna be alone forever, and I'm on this island, and I'm in this place, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know how I got here. And he just like starts running down the hill. It's like,
like
calm
too
down.
fast. Yeah, like just not even thinking about it. And he's slipping and he's sliding and he's giving himself a full cardiac
Yeah,
event.
he's fully having a panic attack, and
Yeah.
then he forces himself to slow down, even though his brain is running, hurry, 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 hurry.
He's like, yeah, like everybody hates me, and like even CSL mentions that like if Eustace really took the time to get to know these people, he would know that they would never leave him behind. But like, yeah,
He's seeing his projection
yeah, of
of
them. And so he's just like slithering down the stones, and like then he can like see some trees, and then like the darkness and the fog, and then he realizes that he has no idea where the fuck he is.
And this is not the coast.
There's no sea.
He probably went down the wrong side of the mountain.
Fuck.
Like, this doesn't seem to be a very big island, but he is not a woodsman.
He wandered off by himself with no experience. Like,
And didn't tell anybody, so they don't know how long he's been gone. They don't know which direction he went in.
they don't even like he doesn't even know if they know that he's gone.
Yeah,
Like
at
how
this
much time
point,
has passed.
I don't think they do know. And that's the end of the chapter. We end a chapter like that. I was like, oh, fucking hey, Eustace. Like,
cliffhanger.
please don't die.
And then he just like sets us up like, you want to keep reading, right? Because it's chapter number 6.
The Adventures of Eustace.
Okay, so everybody else in the DTC, which is the Dawn Treader crew, is working their butts off until dinner. Like they're just taking care of business, and like no one notices because they're taking care of business. And Edmund only notices that he's gone after he has his second helping of roasted goat, which like I don't blame anyone for.
Their brains, that means his brain has just finally turned on.
Yeah, and also they've probably done their best to ignore Eustace because Eustace is a nuisance.
Yeah. The nuisance Eustace.
Which is like our one cut to them, but now we're back to
Right. If we cut back to them just to let you know that they have noticed that he's missing.
Where did he
but
go?
only now. Only as the sun is setting have they noticed that he's missing. And so we flash back to Eustace.
Who's lost.
Lost. And it says that there's silence. Not a living thing in the valley. Not even a bug.
Yeah. And surrounded by sharp-ass rocks and like random burnt patches like those you see on the side of a railway embankment in the dry summer.
Yeah, like grass fire shit.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks back up the way that he came, and now that he's on the other side of the clouds, he realizes that he miraculously took the only safe trail down, like a thin, small trail on precipice on either side. And now that he's seen that, he can't go back up. It's like you climb a rock wall, and then you look down and you see how far you climbed, and they're like, okay, now you rappel back down. And you're like, you're like, I'm all the way up here now.
I live in the sky. And there's nothing there except there's a pool of clear, smooth water, but like no animals, no noise, no insects, just the hot ass sun.
And he then hears a noise, and he turns toward a dark cave in the trees, and he sees 2 small wisps of smoke coming out of it, and the author steps aside to let us know we would have already recognized it as readers of fantasy, but Eustace had read the wrong books, and he didn't know the word dragon. There's some great Great line.
Well, so whatever the opposite of final girl energy is, that's what
That's
Eustace
what
has.
Eustace.
Because like it looks like there's something crawling in the dark, but there is something crawling or worse coming towards him, which yeah, we would have known when we were looking at, because we would have recognized the long lead colored snout or the dull red eyes or the long lathe like body that trailed on the ground with legs whose elbows went up higher than its back like a spider. Its cruel claws, the lack of feathers, bat's wings rasping at the stones, and its yards of tail. Oh, this is the part where I was listening to O Fortuna.
Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Scales and armor.
Like while I was typing the legs about the spider, I was like, is this happening in my head? Well, I guess technically. But
And it slowly crawls to the water's edge to get a drink. And
well, also, lest we forget the two lines of smoke. Literally, like, I mean, he's just painting the image so you know what we're looking at. But like, I think it's just because, yeah, Eustace has no idea. But you're right. It goes to
get a drink, and then
and it's moving so slow too.
slow, which is why he is still watching it, because
He's frozen in here.
he's frozen, but he's also intrigued, and
and he keeps pausing, and like and then he feels like the creature's old and sad, and like wonders if he can get away, but like the dragon goes down to drink from the pool, but then he starts twitching and convulsing, and then
the smoke from its nostrils turned black for a moment, and then floated away. No more gain. And it died. And he watches this beautiful creature take its last breath. And then it almost immediately starts to rain. Like, the heavens are crying for this loss of a beautiful dragon. And Eustace runs to the only shelter that he can see, which is the dragon's cave. And of course, he finds it full of treasure.
right, he has no knowledge of dragons, so like yeah, he like goes to like the nest area, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is pokey.
Yeah,
like
some
he also
sharp rocks.
beforehand he starts to like get that like feeling like I slayed the dragon instead of just
Yeah.
watching it die, and like whatever he's surrounded by. He's got crowns, coins, rings, bracelets, ingots, which are oblong blocks of gold, silver, steel, or other metals, but in this case, probably gold, and cups, plate, and gems. So I kind of picture like, you know, Harry Potter's room,
Yeah.
or his vault, basically.
Classic treasure vault.
And Eustace is like, this is untaxable.
Oh my god.
And he's like, I could get rich quickly, and like I could take my Calorman fancy vacation. And so he starts like putting all the jewelry on and stuffing his pockets before deciding to go to sleep and wait the rain out. Personally, I would not put on a bunch of jewelry and then go to sleep, but like,
No.
live your best life, sis.
Although eventually your body heat would warm up the gold, and then it would kind of maybe stay and like kind of.
I was just thinking like sensory, like
Yeah,
heavy
no.
things in general, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, he kind of, I think it's just like he's so tired and like
the adrenaline rush of seeing a dragon and
like,
watching it
falling down a
die.
hill. Yeah, he's just passes out. Mm-hmm.
And we flash back to our team, who now have started to freak out a bit because they can't find him, and Caspian's blown his horn, and there's no response. And Reapy Cheap even defends Eustace because Rince is like, oh, is it really that bad that he's gone?
Yeah.
But he's like, he's the queen's cousin. He's the queen's blood. Like, don't say that about him.
And Caspian's like, of course we're gonna find him. He's just
Yeah.
fucking annoying. But honestly, like Reepicheep should be the last person to jump to his defense.
And he's the first person to.
Well, the first Mushka, because mice are
The
valiant.
first being.
They're better than us. But of course, Edmund, excuse me, Eustace is still passed the fuck out. So, you know, he's probably, I don't know, I'm thinking it's that sleep where you don't dream or anything. He's just gone. But
Asleep.
then the moonlight slowly shines in the cave, and then, you know, it wakes him up because I'm assuming it's a full moon night. So,
I mean, it says that he's waking up to a pain in his left arm. So, like, the pain is waking him up.
oh, and then the light's probably, yeah. And
And he sees to the left in the corner of his eye a claw. But it stops when he stops moving.
yeah, and he's like, oh God, you know, I probably put this bracelet on, and then like my arm's swollen up from like, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna just this must be like the dragon's like mate or whatever. So let's just roll over to the other side. But then
There's another claw.
he's like, fuck, how many dragons are there?
Well, he thinks he's like in between the two dragon claws. Like its head is right behind him.
Oh,
I
okay.
think is what he's thinking.
I thought he was between two dragons, but either regardless, two dragons, it's not.
Right.
It's
He's
not
like,
great,
fuck, I just have to make a run for it.
right? And he like, yeah, I think he's like ready to make a break for it, but then, or no, he sees like smoke coming too. Oh yeah, he sees the smoke. Yeah.
smoke, and so he thinks
mhm.
that he's like right in front of the dragon. He's like, "Fuck it, I just gotta run."
Yeah,
and
while
so
crying.
he runs. Yeah, he's crying. He's running.
And clinking, clattering.
Yeah,
and...
he thinks that it's chasing him, and he runs to the pool of water to like hide in it or whatever, and sees his reflection.
And then he thinks there's a dragon in the water staring at him. Like,
For half a second.
get the net, dude.
He realizes it.
Yeah, that sleeping on a dragon's. Do you want to read it?
No.
Yeah, it finally clicks that sleeping on a dragon's treasures with greedy, dragonish thoughts in his heart had turned him into a dragon, and that explains everything.
Yeah, he has a fleeting thought of revenge. He's like, oh, now I can show Edmund and Caspian, but
Yeah, I can fuck people up. I'm
No.
a big ass dragon.
then again he immediately is like, I just want to be their friends.
Yeah,
Like
immediately.
he's like, I
just want to talk and laugh. Like he's like, I just wish I could hear like Reba Cheap say anything, like say
Yeah.
something nice. Like he just
yeah, it's like he's like, yeah, I'm a fucking dragon, and he's like, wait, I'm a dragon, like I'm a monster.
yeah. And like he realizes that he was they weren't fiends. Like he was the monster cutting himself off from everyone and starts to feel alone. And this is where like I couldn't even read. I was crying so much. Like this is the character development that like you would want. It happens pretty quickly, but also just like him realizing that like everyone might have been great if he hadn't have been so rude to them. And like he just weeps and he's like, they've left me. Like, what am I gonna do? And he's at the pool, might as well get a drink. This next part takes a weird turn though.
And then he eats the dragon.
He eats the other dead dragon, which CSL mentions that he didn't realize until halfway through what he was even doing, and that apparently dragons are most delicious to other dragons, which is why I usually only see one. But like,
so crazy, like
and
that
unnecessary.
did not need to be mentioned at all.
Why did he need to eat the other
Yeah,
dragon?
but nearly all of it, like
Okay, like is that gonna come up later?
Like, is it because he was hungry as a human, so he was like still hungry because he didn't eat. He snuck away while they were all working, and then they ate afterward. But regardless, why didn't he fly and go get some sheeps or goats? Like,
I don't think he hasn't realized he can fly yet. I think it's like because he tries to climb, and then I think while he's jumping he realizes like I can fly.
I can fly.
And then honestly, like I feel like him getting to fly, like I mean he cheers up pretty quick. Like that's
It probably just feels so great.
yeah,
And
like
as a creature with wings, it's what you're meant to do as well, so it just
Yeah.
feels even better.
like those few times in life where running just feels like the right thing.
And
But
it
it's
recaps the search mission
Yeah.
that they went on, and it says that Lucy and the team, they came across a dead dragon in a valley, but they didn't find the cave. And like, when were they doing this search? If they found the dead dragon, they must have done the search while he was still asleep, because otherwise they would have found like the ripped apart carcass of a dragon, and they would
Yeah.
assume that there's another dragon that ate it. But if they just found a dragon dead, then I don't know.
I mean, it also kind of makes
Like,
sense.
it seemed crazy that they would find the dragon
And not go in the
see the cave. But he only saw the cave because he heard the noise, I guess.
I hope, yeah,
But
plot
crazy
holes.
if they were right there. Like, that's so sad.
Right. Well, I mean, Lucy's sleeping at this point. When he he doesn't fly around for long before he sees the Dawn Treader and basically just goes to it because I mean, well, what else is he gonna do? And Caspian wakes up Lucy because they're like coming up with like I don't know, like a dragon defense plan.
Yeah.
Sheepy wants to fight it, and Lucy thinks it might go away, but of course it doesn't. And then the next morning, he's just lying out on the sand waiting for them. And when they come out, he like goes into the water and kind of hides for a minute.
Yeah. And Lucy says, well, maybe he came to us to be helped. Because she
Yeah.
sees the swollen left
And
arm.
that he's crying.
She's
And
like Androcles and the lion.
hmm
Which I didn't know. I thought that it was maybe the mouse and the lion thing, but it's a play of Shaw's retelling of the tale of Androcles, a slave who is saved by the requiting mercy of a lion. In the play, Shaw portrayed many Christians who led to the Colosseum for torture. But then the lion doesn't kill him, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. But
I mean,
Lucy's got some reference, and she's like, no, he's gonna be nice, it's gonna be okay, and she uses her cordial to see if it will help, and it reduces the swelling and pain a bit,
it
but
doesn't dissolve the gold,
yeah,
though.
it can't remove the armband.
Yeah. But,
But
yeah, and then, like, at this point, I think they can tell the dragon is just not, it's not going to hurt
he's
them.
not,
And,
he's chill.
yeah.
And then Caspian sees something on the armband, and he says, look, and that's how the chapter ends.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on, that was a stupid cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's like
At least the other one was.
he's just saving all the interesting stuff for the end, so you keep going, because he knows we're dragging through it.
And yeah, now we're on to.
Dragging through it. But that brings us to chapter number 7.
Lucky number 7, how
The
the adventure ended. And not the whole adventure, just
This,
Eustace's adventure.
which is, relatively anticlimactic. But,
Yes, it starts with Caspian recognizing the seal on this
Mm-hmm.
armband as the seal of a great Narnian house. It's Lord Octesian's arm ring.
yeah, a little hammer with a diamond above it like a star.
Beautiful. It's really cute. It's kind of dwarven to me.
Yeah,
But there's no saying that he's not dwarven.
that's true. And and then Cheapy thinks that the dragon devoured the Narnian lord, or asks him if he devoured a Narnian lord, and he shakes his head.
No.
And then Lou suggests that it might be Lord
Are you the Narnian Lord?
And then he shakes his head. No.
Are you a different? Is it 20 questions?
Yeah.
Are you a different human under enchantment?
Yes.
Maybe Eustace.
Yes.
That's the only human they can think of.
Right, which gives him a big reaction, and and it kind of freaks them out. But then Lucy tries to and he's sobbing at this point because he's just so overwhelmed, and Lucy consoles him and even kisses his scaly
Yeah,
face.
because he's just so glad that they know it's him. They're together. They can maybe solve this. If anyone
Yeah.
can solve it, it'll be them.
And Eustace is a totally new boy. He wants to help. He's flying all over the island. He's hunting for them.
Yeah, he's bringing them goats. He's
He's a
able to
good
survey
guy.
everything and kind of answer in yes or no questions,
And he-
like what it looks like.
And he's doing okay as a dragon. He likes
He
his
feels-
food.
yeah.
He's comfortable.
He even ripped up a giant pine tree so that they could use it as a mast, which was probably from the other side of the island or something.
Yeah, and he comforted everybody when it was chilly, and he lit fires with his breath. I mean, he even took people for flights, which I imagine he took because it was certain people, so
Yeah.
Lucy obviously,
Oh,
and then
definitely.
him taking Reepicheep for flights. I was just,
sweet.
I had to change my shirt. I was sobbing through this
It's
because
really
he's finally enjoying other people as a dragon. Because sometimes masking is helpful. Pause for tears.
And then I'm going to talk about white pine.
But yeah, it's weird for him to like people
To
and
connect.
yeah, and it keeps him out of that despair because it's kind of a bummer being a dragon, and he doesn't really like it. He doesn't like his wings, or
Yeah, he doesn't like how it feels. It's not his body.
and he's afraid, almost afraid to. Oh my God, come on. He's almost afraid to be alone with himself, and yet he's ashamed to be around other people. So, when he wasn't, the nights when he wasn't being, he was like a hot water bottle. He would slink away from camp and curled up like a snake between the wood and the water. And Reepicheep would usually come and hang out with him because he's a good fucking mouse.
Yeah, tell him stories of people whose fortunes had taken a turn for the worse, but they ended up living happily ever after in the end. Yeah, so he ripped up a tree, and the last time that there was a specific type of tree mentioned, it was quite important, so I figured I'd try this one. And it wasn't really that important. White pine is used for masts often. because they grow really tall. They're about 5 feet in diameter. They're like pretty consistent tree shapes. It's strong, flexible, and lightweight, so they could just like make the tallest mast they needed, and it was strong.
Yeah, not a lot of tree talk in this one.
Spiritually, right there. And spiritually, it is commonly linked with virtue and long life, even immortality. The pine tree is iconic of the Japanese New Year as a symbol of rebirth, renewal, and a bright, hopeful future. So in this situation, I did like that reading of the white pine because, yes, a pine is the type of tree, a type of wood that they use for the mast in general. But in this instance, it is a rebirth. It's a new mast for this new journey that they're going to go on. And that being provided by Eustace, he's helping this rebirth. He's trying.
It's his Reba Jeep efforts.
Yeah, he's trying to do better. But I just thought it was so sweet, like that renewal and rebirth tied in with Eustace becoming better, becoming
part of the ship,
part of the crew, yeah,
part of the team, yeah. And I think it was like that's another part of it too. Is like when people feel ostracized and left out, it's like you may not want to include them, but like hate and love run the same gauntlet. Like you have to meet hate with kindness because like that's how you bring people in. Like you're not going to win them over with hate. And like Reba Jeep is probably Reba Jeep and Lucy are the best characters to represent that because like it even says that Eustace never forgot Reba Jeep doing that for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's the sort of lesson that like even though he's a kid and like yeah, he may have his shitty moments, like that's the kind of thing that is foundational. So I'm
core memory.
I'm just so proud of Eustace, honestly.
Yeah. And of course it immediately turns to awful with his negative thoughts, and he overhears some people talking about how, trying to figure out logistics of how they're going to travel with him.
Right.
And it's not in, well, we don't know, but it's probably not in a really, oh, he's such a burden way.
Yeah.
They're just figuring out logistics, and they're figuring it out what they thought in a private moment so that they can just have a plan and they can say, hey, Eustace, we figured out what we're going to do. We're going to do this, and we made this little piece on the side so
prime him.
They might just be planning it, and he just overheard it, and now he feels like a burden, and he's like, just as soon as I was getting better, now I can't even do that fucking right because I'm a dragon, and it was the one helpful thing I could have provided, and now that one helpful thing has turned into a nuisance, and he just spirals so quick.
He's just like, I'm gonna have to stay here.
And it says, and this ate into his mind, just as that bracelet ate into his foreleg. Like,
Buddy.
it's just constantly there. Like now, from that moment on, he just... And they're there for 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
So for like a week, he just has this in his head of like...
A week as a dragon.
Yeah, for thinking, I'm just going to be this burden now forever. And so he's probably just trying to be extra, extra helpful and be, anything that they need him to be, which is so sad because he was on a journey of self-discovery, and now he's more on a...
Knocked back.
Yeah.
Yeah, got triggered.
But
yeah.
6 days later, it's nighttime, and
on Dragon Island,
and Edmund wakes up, which is a first. I like it. It would normally be Lucy, I would assume, but Edmund wakes up and he sees a strange figure walking into the woods and follows, but it's just Eustace. And I was like, oh, so this is a dream because it's human Eustace. And I was like, okay, he's dreaming, blah blah blah, but no. Human Eustace is back, and he tells him the story of how he became human again before he tells him the story of how he became a dragon.
Right. And he's like, I'm not ready to see everybody yet. Can we talk to it first?
Can we just talk? And he says he was woken up again from the pain in his arm, and he saw a lion, and he was scared of the lion for some reason, but he also trusted it, and he closed his eyes. probably thinking, oh, he's gonna come kill me. But the lion talked and told Eustace to follow him, and he describes it even as he kind of felt like it was a dream, kinda.
Yeah, because it's a moonless night, but there's moonlight on the lion.
Yes.
Like,
And
sorry,
I'm
did
sure,
you say
and
that?
no, I didn't
Oh,
say that.
okay.
And I'm sure at this point, Edmund, as with us, we already know who it is. There's only ever one lion.
And he's a dragon too. Like, he's aware
Yes.
he's a dragon. So
But
for
he's still
him,
scared of this lion. Like, his energy is just, he knows that he's not as powerful.
right?
And they climb a mountain that Eustace hadn't really ever seen on the island, which is strange considering he flies around it every day. And it had a garden with fruits, and there was a well and the pool of water, and the water looked really refreshing, like it would soothe his leg. And Aslan says, "You must undress first." And he's a little weirded out. He's like, "Well, I'm a dragon. I don't have any clothes." But then he realizes he's a reptile and snakes shed their skin. And so he scrapes at his skin, and he was able to kind of shed his skin. He described it like it does after an illness. What? What illnesses do you have that you then shed your skin, Eustace? What the fuck kind of. What?
Or if he was a banana.
Which is weird, but the visual is there. I understand peeling a banana.
Yeah. And then he,
But he's got another dragon skin under his skin. He thought he was going to be human.
which is such a good metaphor because
Right. The dragon wasn't just what
it's not
he
healing.
turned into.
Yeah, or it's not or like it's like you aren't healing to heal. Like the metaphor here is like there are layers to this to changing who you are, and like
Right.
yeah, like you may be a smaller monster underneath, but that's still a monster that needs to shed its scales.
Your soul is the dragon.
Take those tiny nails out. My soul is a dragon.
And he tried it again, and he had another dragon skin underneath that one. And the lion said that he would have to help. And he stabs him with his claw, and Eustace says that it was the most pain he had ever felt, but also kind of satisfying because of how it felt coming off like a scab, but like, oh my god, like. And he takes off that final layer of dragon skin, the thickest of the bunch, and he was a boy again. And he
Swimming
bathes
around
in the water, and
yeah.
he's living it up. Aslan dresses him because remember in the books Aslan can walk on his two legs and can use his hands and paws to toss things and
Dressed him with
dress.
his paws.
Yeah, he dressed him and then teleports him back to camp. And he was just overwhelmed, and so he started walking into the woods, and that's when Edmund had woken up. And Edmund just listens to his story and then, says, "I think
It wasn't a dream.
yeah, I think you've seen Aslan." And Eustace is like,
Oh, do you know him?
"Yeah, do you know him?" And, kinda, when, he knows me. Uh, and he says that Lucy sees him most. Oh, Lucy. And he also says this, he goes, "Between ourselves, you haven't been as bad as I was on my first trip to Narnia. You were only an ass, but I was a traitor."
Yeah, which is, I think, really profound also because Eustace needs to know that because like the Edmund he's meeting now probably seems exactly the way Peter seemed to Edmund
Yep.
in the first book, and like he even when he says like Aslan's the great lion, the son of the emperor over the sea who saved me and saved Narnia, like he's just like he's like, yeah, dude, like you like I mean yeah, you couldn't have had a better person. Like there's literally nobody else that could have come and rescued you in this situation. And
Yeah.
like and then they just kind of sat there in silence and watched the last star disappear, and then
The sun comes up.
yeah, and then everyone is so happy to see Eustace, and they're having breakfast, and there's much rejoicing, and like
He tells the story of how he became a dragon to everybody. But the story of how he became human was just for him and Edmund. And people start, they're wondering whether the dragon ate Octesian or he became the dragon. I thought it was kind of obvious that he became the dragon because it was his armband and the dragon was wearing the armband on his arm. So I figured it was Lord Octesian.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, but
Well, and he was really old too. Like
yeah, he
it
would have
wasn't.
been old.
Yeah, and that kind of that's what I'm thinking is that he was just like a really really old man who was overheated and going to get some water and died from dehydration,
Yeah.
which honestly a lot of this could have like we didn't even need to have the original dragon in it, to be fair. Like he could have just ended up in a cave, but whatever. Let's kill some mythical creatures for
Yeah.
funsies.
And check our second lord off the list, Octesian.
Ding ding.
2 checked off,
But
5 to go.
the Dawn Treader is remastered, repainted, well
Repainted?
stored. Yeah, I mean, I've been there for 6 days, and and they just are ready to go. And they left a little like
Right, carved into the stone
Yeah.
face. Dragon Island, discovered by Caspian the 10th, King of Narnia, etc. It literally says, in the 4th year of his reign, here, as we suppose, the Lord Octesian had his death.
nothing better than writing as we suppose in stone.
And etc. You carved in etc. And Eustace didn't like become perfect after this experience, but he learned the error of his ways and he was actively working to fix them.
Yeah.
And he didn't really want the armband as a reminder of that. He could remember pretty clearly.
And nobody really wants it.
Nobody really wanted it, so Caspian just kind of chucks it, and it somehow gets caught perfectly on an outcropping of rock right above that inscription that I just read. And it was too high to climb to from the sand and too precarious to climb down to from the top, so the author suggests that it very well may stay there till the end of time.
Oh. It does say till the world ends, but yeah. All right. So let's get off this island. Let's go somewhere else.
Yes.
Let's go to chapter 8.
2 narrow escapes.
Oh, escape.
Escapes.
Needless to say, everybody's stoked. The ship is good. They're loaded up again. They can keep on going. Bye bye Dragon Island. Let's all get the fuck out of Dragonland.
They come across a small vacated island that didn't have any people, but it used to have people, and
Some
they
goats?
suggest maybe the pirates or maybe the dragon. But they find a small boat in the water about 4 feet long, and it was the perfect size for Reepicheep. So they take it aboard, so he has his own little boat. And they name that island Burnt Island, and they head along their way for about 5 days of wind and rain and nothing. And Eustace starts to get grumpy again, and even Edmund wished that they had gone to America instead. Instead of Narnia, you'd rather go to America? You can go to America any fucking day of the week.
With Susan. You'd rather be in America with Susan than Narnia with Lucy.
No way.
Wrong choice. But then the weather clears up a little bit.
Right as they're losing hope.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, they're like, oh man, let's go outside. And they like all of a sudden it looks like there's rocks.
Yeah,
in
Lucy
the
sees what
water.
looks like rocks, and Jurnian's like, there wasn't rocks 5 minutes ago.
And then one like dead ass disappears.
And then another appears closer to them.
And then closer to them.
And something is coming towards them, and it's quicker than they could ever hope to sail away from. I've got quite a long quote here, but
Go for it.
Suddenly, only about a length of a cricket pitch from their port side, an appalling head reared itself out of the sea. It was all greens and vermilions with purple blotches, except where the shellfish clung to it, and shaped rather like a horse's, though without ears. It had enormous eyes made for staring through the dark depths of the ocean, and a gaping mouth filled with double rows of sharp fish-like teeth. It came up on what they first took to be a huge neck, but as more and more of it emerged, everyone knew that this was not its neck, but its body, and that at last they were seeing what so many people had foolishly wanted to see: the great sea serpent.
Dun dun dun.
I would give up I would just probably shit my pants.
Yeah, I'd just be like,
And
guess I'll die meme. Like, all right.
they fire arrows. Arrows don't work. And then they're like, well, what do we do? You're supposed to fight this thing with fucking swords? I don't want it to get that close.
Right? Like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Like, the arrows don't do shit. And then it's like, they're like all staring into its open eyes and mouth, wondering if it's gonna pounce on them.
Right, and it doesn't. It like jumps over the ship and then into the water on the other side. And Eustace, he's feeling his bravery, he's feeling his commitment, and he just runs at this body that's draped over the ship and starts like smacking it with his sword, which proceeds to break. But it was a good try, buddy. It was a really good try.
It was very brave.
It was, and
The last person you think that would tell them
exactly.
to stop. Reepicheep.
Yes, he says we need to push because he saw the serpent had come up the other side back where its tail was, and it was gonna boa constrict. It was gonna tighten its body over the ship, and he saw it all happen. And so he's like, we need to push.
Yeah,
And
because they're just gonna snap it, and then they're
fucked.
yeah, and then you're jack on a log if you're lucky.
And they start pushing and pushing, and it's kind of working. And then they see the decorative, huge dragon's tail at the end of the back of the boat that rises up, 5+ feet. There's no way they're going to be able to push it over. Lucy runs. She's able to get down, grab an axe, and get it back up really quickly because she knows where everything is on this boat. But they got it to the edge, and the sea serpent kind of tightened, and the whole tail just snapped off anyway, so it's kind of pointless. But rightful to be worried about it. But it ended up being okay.
Oh yeah, because Caspian yells for Lucy or
yeah, to go
an
get
axe and
to chop it off so that they would still be able to push it over. But as soon as it gets to it, it just snaps off anyway because the tail is not load bear. Like it can't contain the weight of that sea serpent.
Yeah, and like the others were too exhausted to see what Lucy saw, which was the loop of the sea serpent's body getting smaller and smaller until it disappeared because like it thought it was not a very smart guy.
Yeah, it has a look of idiotic satisfaction. Like it thought it won. It thought it crushed it.
Like after you eat a full meal from a fast food restaurant. But
So they're able to just sail away.
yeah, which is
Sail away, sail away, sail away.
but honestly, like, fucking good job, team. That happened very quickly, and I think also just like from the storm, they were,
They were tired. They weren't there mentally, but they were able to snap it together, and they worked as a team, and becomes like funny pretty quickly. And they all drink some rum, and they cheer for Eustace, and they cheer for Reepicheep. It's a good idea.
Really good idea. And yeah, then they sail for 3 more days with nothing in sea and sky, which like honestly, probably ideal after Dragon Island and Sea Serpent.
Yeah,
like,
I've got a day count here, approximately about 82 days.
Okay.
So they've still got quite a while, and they're out there in the water. They've done some fucking exploring, and they finally start to see land. They're not going to be able to get to it by nightfall, but they wait till morning again to explore, and they can see the next morning they've got 2 streams to pick from. One closer, but it's exposed, and the other one's further away, but it's got some cover of trees, and it's raining out. Which would you pick?
I'm just gonna jump in the water, honestly.
You're like, I don't need to go to the...
Fuck it. I would go for deal with the rain. Be covered. Be safe. Like,
I would go to the cover.
Yeah.
Probably.
like after all this like shit, like let's not make ourselves an easier target.
Yeah, wetter than needed. Like, God. And it's a little further, and Drinian, he was still kind of headed east toward the closer riverhead, even though they had all just decided to go west to the other one. And he's just like,
Anxious.
yeah, he's just going toward it, and Caspian's like, we're going to the other one. And he just kind of keeps going for a little bit, and he's, okay. Caspian kind of had to, like, use his, I'm the king. We're going this way. But we are told by the author that they made the right decision in doing this, which they don't really explain why, but whatever. They made the right decision. And they fill up their casks of water, and they decide to travel back, like down and around the other way to the second water source, which is Lucy's idea. Just, I think she's doing the people pleaser. Like, she wants everyone to be happy, and so she's like, we'll go back through and see the thing that Drinian wanted to see. Even though Drinian wanted to do it for a safety standpoint, get in, get out. We're gonna do the close one, but whatever, Lucy. Uh, and they go and they get to the lake that feeds the river, and they stop to rest. Edmund sits down. They're all sitting, chilling, and he sits on like this sharp thing that he thinks is a rock, but then it's an old Narnian sword hilt.
A rusty sword, no less.
Yeah, and they start digging around in the heather, which is a low-growing purple flowering brush. Everyone's seen it. Like, I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, that like low purple kind of stringy flowers.
Mm-hmm.
They find a chainmail shirt, a helmet, a dagger, and a few true Narnian coins. A couple lions and a couple trees. Like, it kind of reminds me of Canadian, like Loonies and Toonies. They've got
Right.
lions and trees.
Then they're super old, the ones that you would have seen any day in the marketplace of Beaverstam or Bruna.
Yes.
So, like ancient ass coins. So, clearly, it's some Lord pocket change.
Yes. Edmund goes all Sherlock. He's like, a mystery. We have to solve this. And then basically they immediately give up and they start to leave. And then they see the most beautiful golden statue of a man sitting at the bottom of this pool of water. And they're like, that's crazy. It's the most beautiful, like, statue I've ever seen. It's so beautifully carved. They wonder if there's a way to get it out, but it's way too deep to be pulling some heavy-ass gold statue up like that. And so Ed, he lowers his hunting spear into the water just to see how deep it is, but he just kind of drops the spear, because it starts to get really heavy, and Lucy's like, oh, it's kind of the same color as the statue now. It's kind of yellow. I wonder what's up with the water. And like right at that moment, Ed, he shouts, get back, all of you at once. It reminds me of that time I was hanging out in the pool with our friend B12, and there was a spider, like black widow spider, really close to her like shoulder, and I was just like, get up right now. And she just stood up without, no, why, what is it, just get up.
Yeah.
And this is that moment, and Ed is like, get back right now. And they're like, okay.
And he's like, look at the toes of my boots.
Yeah, it's turning into solid gold. And they're like, what are you talking about? He's like, my boots, they're turning solid gold.
Which, like, gold tip boots?
Yeah, so
Heavy.
steel tip, gold tip.
Heavy but fancy.
Just a wonderful time to take a break to thank our sponsor of the episode, the Midas Lake. Do you have old junk that you don't use lying around? Shoes, swords, husbands? Just toss it into our Midas Lake and turn your trash into cold hard cash. For a small payment of 5 Narnian lions, you'll easily make your money back tenfold. Midas Lake is not responsible for loss of limb, life, or sanity due to usage of Midas Lake. Midas Lake is not approved by the NDA and is used at your own discretion. For any problems, questions, or concerns, reach us toll-free at 1-800-GOLD. That's 1-800-GOLD. Midas Lake. From trash to cash.
Midas Lake is a proud sponsor of the Robert Durst Foundation. Me waiting that whole time so patiently, because I was like, who would appreciate that more than Robert Durst? Like,
Yeah.
you kill people and then they're gold.
And then they're gold.
Yes.
And this is when I had the realization he's naked in this lake, because
Yeah.
they say that,
He's got
he
a
must
gold
have
dick.
taken off his clothes and his clothes rotted away. So he's just naked down there, which is why they thought he was a statue, like
Yeah.
a naked Roman whatever statue.
Yeah, he's just a solid gold man at the bottom
Yeah.
of a pool.
And then almost instantly some sort of like enchantment comes over them. Caspian claims Goldwater Island for Narnia and saying that it'll make them the richest people in the world. And
Yeah.
then Edmund's like, well, if anybody ought to claim it, I should be able to claim it in High King Peter's name, and you're supposed to listen to us. And Caspian like puts his hand on his sword. It's giving the last book when they're all fucking fighting, and Lucy gets all up in arms and she tells them to knock it off, and then they all see him. They're like, because they're down, I imagine it, like sheer cliff. They're kind of down in a little pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And he, Aslan, walks up top. And you kind of like see the shadow and they look up and there's this huge lion. And it says
And
that,
they knew.
yeah, they all knew. They're like, time to fucking knock it off and get the fuck out of here. But it says that the size of him changes in the retelling of the stories throughout the years. Lucy once said that he was the size of an elephant, another the only size of a cart horse, which is still huge, but it didn't matter. They knew it was Aslan and they like snapped out of their bullshit.
Yeah, like, or yeah, he says they looked at one another like people waking from sleep, and like Caspian's like, was I being an asshole?
Yeah, was I just the biggest fucking piece of shit on the planet right now?
Yeah, and Reepicheep's like, bitch, let's get the fuck out of here. This place is now called Deathwater.
Yeah, and Caspian's like, I don't really know why, but I agree with you. And they all just kind of head back to the ship, and they're like, we'll have a lot to tell Drinian. And
But like, and then their memory just fades. It's giving Oedipus and like, you know,
Yeah.
the Lotus Island or whatever.
yeah, as soon as they leave, they kind of forget. And Drinian and Rince notice it when they come back. They're like, they were kind of
something
bewitched
happened
looking.
to them.
And Drinian's like, the only thing I was able to get out is that they want to call it Deathwater Island and that they found the body of one of the lords. Which is like way scarier than anything that actually happened. Because
Yeah.
it was a scary situation, but the only thing that you hear is it's called Deathwater Island and you found a body there. That's the scariest shit.
I think
ever.
they're just glad that everybody came back.
And we don't really know who this lord is. I'm sure, we're going to find out by the end by process of elimination, but I would hazard a guess that it's Lord Restamar because his name means resting in a body of water.
That's a bit on the nose, CSL, but
It's a little bit right there. And I think we're going to rest our episode here for now until next time, where we will finish chapters 9 through 16 of the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. I definitely didn't forget what the name of the book we're reading is. You have been listening to The Lobster and His Boy with me, Wyatt the Boy.
and me, Clem the Lobster.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions or theories or concerns, feel free to reach us at lobsterandhisboy@gmail.com. No capitals, no space, no special characters. We are also on Instagram and TikTok at lobsterandhisboy. No capitals, no space, and no special characters. Thank you so much for listening. I have had so much fun sailing through the ocean 85 days in, and we will see you for the rest of the year and a day next time on The Lobster and His Boy.
See you soon.
C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis.